Dear, I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say just starts...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
How dare you?
Why? How dare, he always does this. Just to rub it in my face. I can't even get out of this thing.
What? You got a Rancor too now?
His is bigger.
What?
Yes.
Yours has like big crazy horns and shit.
No, his is the cantina. His is the cantina.
Oh my god.
Edition.
Oh my god.
Listen, he has spikes. Listen, now I'm not grateful. I'm very grateful for the adopted. He's got spikes. Look at him. Well, now he won't stop. See, he plays this game. Like I try to catch up to him, and then he just runs away. Stop running.
No, my brother is just the Tard Wrangler of the two of us. He has to lead us around and be like, come on, come.
Do you see his spikes? They're orange.
Yes, they are. Quite nifty. And yours has big, gnarly horns. What are you crying about?
No, his are orange.
No, I get that he has the like spikes around his back and stuff that are orange and everything, but you got big gnarly horns on the freaking head of the Rancor you got. Pretty cool.
No, his are orange.
Did you want what? You wanted orange, an orange spiked Rancor? Would that have made you feel a little better?
No. Where are we going? I'm hungry. There's stuff at the gas station.
Own your truth. You know, it was difficult. It was at first. I mean, you just cornered me like that and everything. But you know, it's a little liberating now to know I can like Star Wars in more ways than I ever imagined. Dave Filoni is the savior of Star Wars. KK is doing an amazing job. The people out there are just blind and can't see it. So yes, thank you. I can stop lying now.
Damn, that's not good.
when you get
NES and
instead of just like trying to slap something out like the Star Wars experience and crap, but when you have
don't.
I'm sorry, it's true though.
No,
It's like
I just got back from. Oh, I just died.
I just
How do
watched
I
that.
get-
It was hilarious.
How do I get back up there?
1 week later.
I don't know what I was doing, but from that angle, I just jumped.
you just walked right off
I
the
just
cliff.
walked
It was
off.
hilarious.
I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, that's funny. I was just like, do, and I was like over here, and I was like, woo. Oh, see, you thought I was gonna do it.
And he did it. All right.
Oh,
Oh, I missed it.
I was fully. I didn't know how to do it. I was just messing around.
Yeah,
and I
you-
hit W.
Oh, that was gold. That was.
Way to go, buddy.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith, number 135. I'm your host, the Fractured Filter, with you as always. And here tonight with me as always is my friend, my compatriot, my buddy in all this madness in the world, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
Grumpy, very foul mood.
I know we were
talking about.
really talking about some stuff even before we got started. Oh boy, it's gonna be a
135.
night.
135. Who would have thought? No, yeah. So I'm trying to bite my tongue because I've got a lot. Like I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be a good boy. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let you
It's
start.
okay. It's okay.
that.
You're good. You're good. Unfortunately, my thing kind of goofed, but for really quick, we do have some people in the chat here already. We had the backseater saying, "Hail Fractured Filter and Hitman." Filter, I found this blog post from this old blog I used to read, and it's aged horribly. I think it would be a fun read for the stream. Want me to send it to you? Sure, why not? Well, I'll take a look at it later. And we have Melissa Lord in the chat saying, "Hey, Fractured Filter, hello." Black Pill Timon, Meteor Advocate, saying Corinthians is playing. Be back in an hour and a half. So yeah, he's got his game on. And then Decrepit, hello, saying, "Hey, Fractured Filter and J and hello, how are you doing today, sir?" Yeah, we got a lot of we got some stuff. We got some stuff to talk about this week, that's for sure. Hitman's already broiling. And
It just doesn't make any sense.
and everybody may be wondering, well, what isn't making sense to Hitman? Well, in this regards, I'll even bring it up because I do have at least kind of a baseline for things to go off of. And we'll start here. We're starting off quick. Hey, Static, how's it going, sir? All right. Okay, so I do have this article from the Niche Gamer. Here you go, Hitman. You should be able to see it in Discord now. All right, so let me switch on over. There we go. So Niche Gamer had some of the first announcements going on April 2nd. For anybody that's unaware, the Nintendo Switch got its release date and the pricing's announced. So we're going to be diving a little bit into this system. I wasn't quite planning on it, but man, Hitman came in hot and ready to talk. So like it is, I got some things here. We're going to be set to go here. Hitman, do you still want to go on?
I mean, we can. The biggest thing for me before we start going down this rabbit hole is, was any of this verified by either one Nintendo, or is this?
So yeah, so Niche Gamer, Niche Gamer here, they do, qualify themselves as, proper quote unquote games journalists.
Are they
so
on
they
the
have
same level as IGN?
I mean, they're supposed to be on that level. I mean, IGN is very shystery, so watch your back with them. But Niche Gamer was one of the many outlets that kind of cropped up or at least certainly gained more prominence during the things like Gamergate and stuff like that. So, and they were touting themselves as being, for the gamers and stuff like that. So they do their due diligence, and they have the information. That's why I have used some of their articles and stuff like that for talking about gaming. So yes, this information here is from the horse's mouth, as it were.
All right.
Okay. You feeling better?
No.
Yeah, Decrepit, I'm kind of on that boat. He's saying, oh yeah, F Nintendo. Yeah. So here we go into some of the lowdown that we got from this really quick. Nintendo has announced a release date for their hotly anticipated Nintendo Switch 2 console, and its purpose surprisingly soon. That was what kind of surprised me a lot too, was that when I was watching the Nintendo Direct, I did watch it, and it got me a little wrapped up in it, and I'm kind of glad I deleted some posts and stuff like that, because I was a little overly excited at first, and then my brain started circulating, going, wait, slow down a bit there, Fractured. Take those black pills now, because you're getting too white pilled here. And a lot of the problems started shining through, and yeah, so this is the dates that they were announcing during their trailers and stuff like that were really like, oh, this is the release date for this game, then the console must not be too far behind. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch is set to launch on June 5th, though at the moment this is why I was a little hesitant talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 console, because there's a lot of stuff going around right now about the possibilities for holds on pre-orders and stuff like that. Again, like the original Switch, even before the coof happened, there was limited availability. So Nintendo's kind of playing that game a bit again, and there's also a lot of kickback on this system. Not I don't know necessarily for the price of the console, but
There it is.
But for the price of the games themselves, which we will get into as well.
Both.
But for some people, yes, for some people it is both. In my opinion, so the price here with the suggested retail price set at $449.99, which that is just the base model. That is just the model that you get with just the console itself. And as it stands,
no Joy-Cons, no screen, no buttons.
No,
he's a skeleton.
He's being a little. That's not true, Hitman. That's not true.
There it is. Probably.
No, I mean, okay, so let me even hang on. I know I registered. So, okay, so if you are, oh shoot, I probably hang on. Probably should have just added it in. I tried preparing so much stuff for this. Okay, so you should be able to see this now. So this is, as they show, yes, you get the Joy-Cons, you get the dock and everything. It's just the Nintendo Switch system is just the system. So you get, the 3 play modes, TV, tabletop, and handheld. And then the other model, which is at the $499 price, is this is where you get the system itself plus the full game download, and that's the thing. It's gonna be the digital version of the game, and it's the Mario Kart World plus Nintendo Switch bundle. Now, I'll say that's a little bit better than what they did last time with the Nintendo Switch, which was no bundle at all. They did release like a couple of games. I think Breath of the Wild was one and Mario Odyssey. But yeah, so that's what they're looking at for this side of things. Now back to, so yes, you get the full console, Hitman. Close that out. Don't need that anymore. And there is some kind of people have been kind of confused because they do have 2 different versions that are going to be available. Because they are going to have a region locked and region free for the Nintendo Switch, which is the region free version is the $449, which will be available in the US and states like that. The Japan locked is going to be at a different price. I believe that one is like, that one's going to be at like the $349, I believe.
So get a VPN.
Well, that doesn't, I mean, their system itself is going to be locked for just the Japan market. And they're trying, supposedly it's to try and help with scalpers and stuff like that to prevent that from going on like it has before in the past with other consoles like the PlayStation 5.
Just fly to Japan and buy it and then come back here and hook it up.
Well, it's region locked though. So even if you buy the games here and try to play it on that system, they won't play. That's the thing. And then
but your VPN should bypass that, no?
VPN, that's not how VPNs work. And certainly not for consoles, because the consoles are meant to read particular cartridges. So unless, yes, you are fluent with Japanese and everything, and you just buy the Japanese version of the games, you have no problem. But if you're trying to buy US games and play it on a region-locked Japanese console, they won't play. That's the whole thing.
That's dumb.
It's been a thing for a very, very long time. I first ran into this myself with stuff like during the PlayStation era in particular, because that's when I started learning about other like Dragon Ball Z games. I learned about Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, Legends, and Ultimate Battle 22. And I really wanted to play those games. But the problem was that even though I bought the games, tried to play them on my system, it wouldn't work. Because like it is, our systems were locked for the US, and those games were meant to play on a Japanese PlayStation. So I paid $20. A friend of mine got me hooked up with a mod chip so I could play imported games and also, well, some other games. But that's the whole thing. So that's why there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on with the system already, with just this announcement alone. So that's the whole thing with being region locked versus non-region locked. You understand? So the non-region locked, you'll be able to play even Japanese games on those systems and stuff like that. You getting it now?
It's still stupid.
I don't necessarily disagree, because I don't think they should be doing this whole separated system stuff, but that's what they've decided to do. I know, Melissa. Yeah, she says my PC doesn't know what region lock is, Lamau. I know. So I understand that 100%. But yeah, so pre-orders launch on April 9th via participating retailers. Like I said, they are allegedly running into some problems at the moment, but we'll see what actually does happen. Quote, Nintendo Switch 2 is the next step in at-home gaming that can be taken on the go based on 8 years of play and discovery that began with the Nintendo Switch, said Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa. Quote, with its new features that expand the possibilities of gaming experiences, I truly believe that Nintendo Switch 2 is a leap forward in our journey of putting smiles on the faces of everyone that Nintendo touches. So here's the rundown on all the new details plus trailer for Switch 2. You can discover reimagined Joy-Con 2 controllers, each of which can now be used with used as a mouse in compatible games, and that snap to the system with magnetic connectors. I saw the mouse thing. I swear, I know Nintendo's the king of gimmicks, but the idea of a mouse controller just seems very goofy, and they haven't had a mouse connection sort of thing since, at least as far as I know, since the Super Nintendo with Mario Paint. And that was the only game I remember it really being used for. So I don't know what sparked them to do this now, unless some Switch games are going to be suddenly finding themselves on PC. I don't foresee that actually being the case, but it's a little interesting that now they're doing this with the Joy-Cons. Experience the system's powerful processing speeds, delivering visuals via a bigger screen, showcasing vibrant color and clarity from Nintendo Switch 2. Games to compatible games in existing Nintendo Switch libraries. Connect and play with friends and family in surprising new ways. Nintendo Switch 2 comes with the following. So here to help extra alleviate your worries there, Hitman. The Nintendo Switch 2 console, Joy-Cons, 2 controllers left and right, the grip, Joy-Con 2 straps, Nintendo Switch 2 dock, ultra high speed HDMI cable, Nintendo Switch 2 AC adapter, and USB-C charging cable. So yes, you can race into Nintendo Switch 2 with the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart bundle for a suggested retail price of $499 in the United States, which includes a system and download code for the Mario Kart World game, available from Nintendo Switch on launch day of June 5th. And game chat enables new ways for players to play socially together. Listen, this is the thing with the game chat. If you have ever interacted with people on Xbox Live, game chat, and stuff like that, it's so much the same thing. I don't see where I really need to go into a whole lot of this. They offer up a lot of different for screen sharing, muting, and stuff like that. That's fine. And if you've used anything also like what Hitman and I are doing right now, using something like Discord, it's all the sort of, Nintendo has been so far behind on the online features for their game console when it comes to like player, connectivity and stuff like that, that now I was watching, when I was watching the Nintendo Direct for this, I just laughed, and I even said to Sheepster, I was like, this is them just catching up. This isn't anything new or revolutionary, that's for darn sure. It's just them trying to catch up to everybody else at this point. So that's basically the game chat in a nutshell. I mean, if you really want a lot of the extra details, that's definitely where, you can check out the Nintendo Direct yourself. Because Lord knows that whole thing was an hour itself. And it was funny too, because while I was watching the stream, their stream just borked like a couple of times with sound sync and stuff like that. So, but yes, they do have a large vivid screen that allows smooth motion expression. Nintendo Switch 2 has a large 7.9-inch built-in LCD screen. Now here we go. I was wrong, Hitman, because I said, it's just like another OLED thing, but here they are saying it's an LCD screen and not like a OLED screen, much like both of the. Well, okay, so the Steam Deck has 3 versions. One is the regular LCD, and then the other 2 are OLED. But it's funny that they're still maintaining that when they're basically the Nintendo Switch, like they have their OLED version, which is the bigger screen and stuff like that for just the Switch 1. it's funny they aren't just continuing and moving that forward. Anyways, that display in full HD at 1080p while maintaining the same thickness of the Nintendo Switch, even while on the go. And then the Joy-Con 2 controllers attached to the system with a snap. It's being connected via magnet. So I remember we talked about that before. We'll see how that actually works out. If it's smooth enough, if it doesn't have too many problems. I'm not, I wouldn't doubt that they do. But so I don't know how much they're going to mention here. They say powerful processing speed and graphical performance. Nintendo Switch 2 has significantly improved their CPU and GPU performance over Nintendo Switch, resulting in faster processing speed and enabling new visually advanced gameplay. It also makes it possible to achieve more detailed graphics and faster loading times. Like people were saying, like it was, people have been pointing out how, you know, there were sections of gamers that were complaining that the Nintendo Switch was underpowered and stuff like that. But let's face it, to maintain that portable capabilities, it had to be a little underpowered here and there. Problem was optimization. Even for their mainstream games, their optimization was generally poor. People were talking about all sorts of frame rate problems and stuff like that between even, you know, Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime, and I can't recall all the others at the moment, but I know I ran into some problems. I think even with I think like the Mario RPG remake and stuff like that. So they haven't exactly been up to snuff on that format, and that's the problem. And that's the problem. What I would say with the whole industry as a whole is optimization. These developers aren't as cued in with that sort of stuff anymore. They just kind of they just slap it together and throw it out there. So yes, they have the crisp audio quality and spatial 3D sound. Internal storage of 256 gigabytes this time around. The internal storage, and you can of course expand with a micro SD express card. Then now that's been the other thing, is that now they have separated themselves from the Switch, and that you will have to get an entirely new card, either their own or probably, you know, from SanDisk or something like that, because I looked on the market and there are the micro SD express cards out there, because apparently these new ones, they're meant to have faster data reading speeds than the previous models. Take that for what you will. But yeah, and then the thing is that Nintendo Switch games are also playable on the Nintendo Switch 2. That was certainly a point that I was wondering about, but the thing that it's become is that all they're doing is much what Xbox is doing, and that's still emulation. They're still like using a sort of emulation software in the system to play the games. It's not like a true backwards compatibility like it was even for PlayStation 2 and stuff like that, playing PlayStation 1 games, at least as far as we know. But yeah, in addition to the Nintendo Switch 2 games, Switch 2 can play compatible physical and digital games released on the Nintendo Switch. Some Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with the Switch 2. Switch Joy-Con controllers and peripherals such as Switch Pro controller will also be usable on the Switch 2 by connecting them wirelessly to the system. I just hope that their Switch 2 Pro controller doesn't have the same connectivity problems that their first one does, because mine won't properly connect wirelessly. And that's been an annoyance. I can connect it up physically with a cord, the charging cord, but it won't seem to charge, and it won't actually connect to the system itself by itself. So, and I looked online, it's been apparently an issue. Really? Nerdy Neo saying Xbox isn't emulating. I thought that was what they were doing for the backwards compatibility, was that the Xbox side to play those games was doing a sort of emulation. Sorry if I misspoke on that, but that was my understanding. So yeah, so the you can still use your old peripherals. That's good. New Nintendo Switch 2 dock. The game share is an interesting thing. So they have the multiple people can play one title with the game share. With game share, a new Nintendo Switch 2 feature, players can share and play the same game with others who do not have the game. If one person has a Nintendo Switch 2 system and a game compatible with game share, that person can invite others to temporarily play the same game together via local play with a Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch system. Between Switch 2 systems, game share can also be used along with game chat or online play, so that players and the game share, like I said, was an interesting thing that they detailed on the direct itself, showing you being able to like kind of like you basically like can rent out your games to friends if you have the games digitally. And so I thought that there's an interesting aspects to it. And then like the question then becomes, will it kick back after the 2 weeks and stuff? That stuff
Why
was
not?
who knows. It's meant to. I think that was meant to. I forget the exact details, but that I thought was kind of interesting to be able to share your digital games that way. But again, Steam has already had that sort of feature through like family share and everything. So again, like I said, it's like Nintendo is still doing their best to catch up. Virtual game cards add benefits to digital games. So with virtual game cards, players can easily manage all their purchased digital games, play games on 2 different systems, or even lend or borrow games. The virtual game card menu shows all of the digital games purchased with users' Nintendo account, making it easy to access the games, load them onto other systems. Once a virtual game card is loaded onto a system, it can be played even if the system is not connected to the internet. And other users who are on that system can also play the game. Additionally, digital games can be lent and borrowed among members of the same Nintendo account family group in the form of virtual game cards via local wireless communication. So we already know that Switch Online is pretty self-explanatory in my book. But like it is, they are adding with the Switch 2, they're going to be adding the GameCube library for some games. Some of the games that they, I believe, showed off they showed off F-Zero GX, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2. If you don't already own those with a previous GameCube, you might want to check it out. And of course, they also announced their GameCube controller that they're going to be reselling, which I know a lot of people, especially in the Smash Brothers community, really like the GameCube controller. So having like an official one, other than the ones that they might have already still had, is kind of a good thing from them. Let's see here. There's some stuff especially that I want to get to. Otherwise, anybody that, like I said, of course, they have parental controls, an app, and stuff that you could do with that. Here's some of the extra fuckery that goes on, though. Nintendo Switch 2 game cards and game key cards. So game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your quote-unquote key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and standing it up like a standard physical game card. This, like I said, has been a point for debate for a lot of people as well. Me in particular, I thought it was some real shady shit. And for Nintendo especially, but I mean, I know other game consoles are already doing this sort of thing as it is. So like it is, they show it off a little more here. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key, as we kind of already talked about. After it's downloaded, you can play the game inserting the game. key card. So basically, here's what it's like. They show off the packaging right here. Hopefully, okay, yeah, you should be able to see that. And as it points out too, the game itself isn't included on the game key card, that's the cartridge, basically. That's what they're calling it. The key card, the game key card. So you will have to download it before you can play. When you insert the game key card, further instructions will be displayed on the home menu. Please follow instructions to download the game. I never liked this with PC gaming either. And this is essentially what PC gaming did. They had your CD key. So this is their again, like this silly attempt to dissuade pirates. But yeah, as Timon points out, physical DRM, nothing but. The sad thing is that this isn't anything new, and it's been otherwise to a certain extent allowed. For PC side, not for consoles, and that is especially why I can understand a lot of people are upset. However, it has become a thing with the push for digital games. And anybody that's gone into any retailer, you'll see that there are some video games that'll say game disc, or in Nintendo's case, cartridge not included. All you're getting is the case plus inside a digital code to download the game. In this case, they are going that one extra step, their details, to still maintain your physical game copy collection. Not only will you be paying for the game and everything, but then you have to. Okay, so hang on, let me roll back a little bit. Sorry. Okay, so you are paying for the game, even though you'll put the physical game in. You have to enter in a key, and this is still going to be dependent on you having an internet connection to download the full rest of the game. Again, like I said, yes, PC games had CD keys, but those were bullshit to begin with when they had those as well. But the thing was, the full game was installed on your system. You didn't have any of this bullshit where you're trying to download extra parts just to play your fucking game. And I've already seen other people really cope fucking hard about this. That, it's for this extra game key bullshit. Oh, it's just because the games are going to be too big. So it's not, so you have to have multiple cartridges or nothing like that. Or at least it was something to that effect. It's like, no, that's still bullshit. There's still, yeah. As Timon says, if buying ain't owning, pirating ain't stealing. Listen, like, my thoughts on it, a person can buy that game, and what they choose to do with that game is up to them, right? So if a person chooses to put that game on a file sharing website, I think they have every right to do so. That they purchased it, they should be allowed to do with it what they want, right? So believe me, I'm with you on that one, Timon. But it's not real physical copy if you have to download even 1 megabyte. 100%. I agree. It's a lot of bullshit. Nintendo is pulling some real fuckery with this. And this is where a lot of I think some of this drama has kind of died down on this. Everybody's gotten really, really focused on game pricing and the console price itself, which I do have some stuff on. Some of the console pricing. Hang on, the game prices, because originally, for some of the prices that I was seeing, and I'll even take it that extra step. So let me close that really quick. And we'll go over to this. So like it is too, you are also seeing a price increase Switch 2 Pro controller at $79.99. I don't know how well anybody can see that. The Joy-Cons are going up to $89.99. The camera that they're having, which is basically like the Xbox Kinect, essentially, is $49.99, and the dock set, which is what you see here for if you have to replace your Nintendo Switch dock, at $109.99. So there's the camera, and then here are the Joy-Cons, which are at $89. The charging grip, $34, and the Pro controller at $79.99. And let's see, I know I've got some other things. I thought I had some extra stuff regarding. So another part that I thought, and that's why I certainly deleted my first initial comment, is I saw Mark the Cyborg kind of break things down pretty effectively. Like he says, the good 120 hertz screen, Pro controller with standardized back paddles, mouse control options for Joy-Con. I don't know if that's a good thing personally, but backwards compatibility with performance upgrades and new From Software game. Yes, they got basically their own Bloodborne. So now the Switch 2 will probably be the new Bloodborne machine. But the backwards compatible upgrades are paid. New external storage format requiring you to buy a new SD card. At least it's not proprietary, which is good. But you still have to find now brand new cards just to do that. The GameCube, as well as all prior Nintendo consoles games, are still subscribed to play and not purchasable outright. I understand that, because then you're having to rely on the internet connection still just to play those previous versions of games. The new From Software game is exclusive, but he has it. But that was like certainly some of that. Let's see here. I could have sworn I did have something with the game prices. Like it is, I did see Mario Kart World is priced currently at the 79. Hang on. Let me find that. Where is it? Yeah, so right now it's being retailed at $79.99. But that does, so I did find this article here from Bounding into Comics, where Nintendo Switch 2 game prices spark outcry as Mario Kart World listed for $80, Donkey Kong Bonanza for $70 dropped the price. While the recent reveal, the Nintendo Switch 2 was met with thunderous applause during its respective Nintendo Direct presentation. Some details that weren't mentioned therein, including the enormous price jump for first-party games like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, have poured rain on the initial celebration. And honestly, that was kind of the funny thing. Like, once the Nintendo Direct was done, I looked on X and man, the shitstorm was just going. But yeah, so the Nintendo Direct, April 2nd. So Dusk Bloods is the new From Software game, which is going to, like I said, it's essentially like Bloodborne. And Switch 2 will probably be the next Bloodborne machine. They're going over some more of the retail prices that we already looked at. I want to get some of the, so like it was, yeah, people were diving, people were starting to dig. And so like it is for some of the games for Switch on the Switch 2, some are looking at 79, some are still gonna be at 59, 69 for Breath of the Wild, which is now like the complete edition, quote unquote.
What does that mean, complete edition?
Well, it's now also with the graphical updates and probably DLC that they did have for Breath of the Wild included in it.
The motorcycle.
That too, yeah. And I think there were some other things that they detailed in the Nintendo Direct. Yeah, and they're doing a re-release of Bravely Default, Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, which the TV is going to be using the game chat stuff, using your camera and everything to include you in the game, as it were. I could have sworn there was some more on the game prices themselves floating around, other than this again more about the game key card. It's all looking really. Ugh. For me personally, I was just looking at it. I didn't really catch anything too grabbing because even oh god, like Metroid Prime 4, even though I would more than happily love to play it, but I mean, hey, it's gonna be coming to the regular Nintendo Switch. And from what I understand, even the Switch 2 version is just the Switch 1 version, but then you have to get the free upgrade just to then get the benefits of that. And there's been a lot of dipshits also going around. Well, the prices back then were also just as expensive. Different circumstances, different context, everything that was available. I mean, look at it back then. We were able to, legitimately try before you buy. There aren't exactly the most easiest of renting systems anymore. Demos aren't.
There's still one Blockbuster still open. I said there's still one Blockbuster.
Is that one out in Oregon or something? I thought they finally closed
Oregon
even that one down.
No, it's in I think it's I don't know. I think it's Oregon or Utah. It might be Oregon. Nah, it's Oregon because I had a buddy at work tell me. I don't know if it's still open. Last time I heard it was, but I could have closed it down. But it's just. Can I just interject really quick?
No, I mean I've been going over all this nonsense. By all means, sir. By all means.
Here's the irritating part about it. It's like, and this is going to be the most subjective thing I've ever said on this show. Maybe one, definitely top 3. But I had always felt personally, as a non-gamer, I've kind of felt like Nintendo was the last great escape, if you will, like to be an Xbox person at heart. I've been with Xbox since the beginning, since Halo and then Gears of War, like since the very beginning, right?
Right.
And through the years, I saw, the shenanigans that Microsoft had done as far as like Xbox Gold or Xbox Live. And then PlayStation was, at one point in time, you could still play online and not have to pay. And then they got on board with it. And then there was this kind of back and forth rivalry between, Xbox, Microsoft. I'm sorry, Xbox and PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft. And they would duke it out. And then you had on like one island, these two countries fighting. And then you had the PC people fighting amongst themselves, not really, but they were fighting their own battle over here. And Nintendo, I just kind of felt like was the company that wasn't out to screw people. I genuinely felt that for a long time, right? And I don't know if it was nostalgia, just the price, but I don't know, man. I just felt like Nintendo genuinely cared about the consumer and cared about like the product they pushed out. They fought. I mean, this is non-related, but like what they tried to do with the Mario movie, they came and said, absolutely not. You're not going to do this progressive liberal BS stuff. And I just always felt that they produced really good product. Now there's some games that probably I wouldn't play, right? But overall, overarching theme, like they produced games that most people I think would say that they loved, right? And then to the OLED, the Switch came out. The Switch has been a consistent $299 for as long as I can remember. Maybe it was a little bit more expensive when it first came out. I don't remember. It's been out for 7 years, right?
No, I'm pretty sure it's been that price. Yeah,
It's
I'm pretty
consistently
sure you're
stayed
right.
$299, right? And then they released the OLED, right? And they were charging $350, so literally $50 more. I was okay spending the extra $49 on the OLED because of the screen, right? Or the whatever it is. That to me, I was justified in that, right? Because I wanted the better screen and whatnot. Well, I don't think it was anything bigger. I don't think it was a bigger screen. I think it was just literally the type of screen, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? Then to hear the Switch 2 come out. One, I'm still salty because I literally just got my Switch a couple months ago, right? And then they come out and say, "Oh, we're gonna release the Switch 2." Okay, whatever. But I just the $400 price point, like, well, Jay Hammond, it's like $50 more, and you paid $50 more for your OLED than Switch. They're like, yeah, but what did I get with it? Right? You got the OLED screen. What are you getting with you're getting a game? Okay, like I guess I could see somewhat that logic because my OLED. Well, no, not really, man, because I paid $350 for my OLED and I got the Mario bundle. So like I didn't pay any more than the $50
Oh, you got the Mario
comparatively.
bundle?
Yeah, I got the Mario bundle. So it was still $50 more, right? And that game is not I mean, that game's a little bit more expensive. So like that, of course that's a deal. Well, I did it, right? But the base model 400 and I guess you could say maybe I'm not making sense. Maybe it's the exact same. It's 450 for the base, you said, or 400 for the base.
450 for the base model,
Okay.
499
no.
for the
Yeah,
for the bundle.
man.
So it's
If they,
it's
no,
it's
if they
slightly.
kept it-
Sorry, go ahead.
no, no. I mean, it's you're doing $100 more for the newer console, which I'm not an economics expert, and then you're going to charge an additional $40 for basically just the game.
Right.
So,
Which I mean, you're getting at a slight discount because you're going for basically another $50 up instead of the $79.99 price for the Mario Kart World. So,
it's a handheld though, man. And if we were gonna sit here and argue like, well, gee, him and the Steam Deck's a lot more money. It's like, yeah, but listen, it's almost a computer. I mean, relatively speaking, like comparatively speaking, like the amount of RAM that you get on the Steam Deck and the amount of games that you can port over and play compared to the Switch. And let's just talk about the battery life for the Switch. If you're playing like a game like Assassin's Creed, it's gonna last everywhere from 2 to 3 hours, if
Yeah.
that. Depending on the game. Smaller games probably a lot more, but like you're looking at a 2 to 5 hour battery life compared to and I forget what we talked about with the Steam Deck, but I would vaguely want to say it was strongly better than the battery life was better than the OLED. Could be wrong. Maybe I was wrong, but so that's a lot of money for a handheld, man. Like the Switch Lite's at $125. Was it $125? 100 and something like that.
oh, the Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yeah. So you go from
that
the
one. I
Switch
think
Lite
is $199. I think. Hang
is
on.
$100 less than the. That might be right.
Yeah, the Switch Lite is $199.
Okay, so you go $100 cheaper. The Switch, Switch Lite 200, Switch Lite 200, the Switch 300,
Right.
OLED 350. Releasing the Switch 2 is going to be 450, and then you'll just do a bundle of 490. So it's $150 more than the OLED newer model, 490. You're literally just getting a $30 discount of the game, $39 discount of the game, basically.
Give or
So
take, yeah.
people, so you're literally like it just what you're gonna people are gonna you're gonna buy one system versus the other because of a $30 discount. And again, like you're gonna sit here and tell me that $150 markup compared to the Switch or the Switch LED, and I get it's a newer console, but does $150 really justify a new console? Like, what are the differences? You say, well, the processors like slightly better. I was like,
that was
okay,
the problem is that they didn't detail the CPU or the processing
didn't.
power. They didn't really detail
They
that,
didn't.
so you don't have a baseline.
And I'm very curious. And I'm very curious if they will. And that's the thing. Like, you're like, oh, it's $150. Is that going to really break the bank? Like, it's a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
For a system. So if you sit here and tell me like the processor's upgraded, it has, I'm just going to throw computer stuff out here and you'll either laugh or won't laugh, but like, we'll just show you my knowledge of computers. If it's got, a Intel GI, whatever processor with the Ryzen board and, 6 M dot, things you can put in for rent. Like if you're putting in a bunch of stuff that justifies that markup, then fine. But also you're coming into an economy here that is trying to come up to up and up. And I honestly didn't even think about this until now. You might throw tariffs on Japan, so we might be paying $6.50 for
so
this.
Yeah, that's been part of the. I believe they kind of mentioned it here in this article. Where was it? I think it's towards the bottom here because they mentioned something about Trump's tariffs. Thanks to the new tariffs enacted by President Trump, Nintendo has chosen to delay their previously planned U.S. pre-order window. So that's where that comes in, the pre-order window for the new console, in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs evolving market conditions, with specific tariffs placed on China and Vietnam, where the company typically manufactures their consoles, set to see both hardware and games receive a local price bump. So that's where the $90 physical, $80 digital comes back into play potentially. We don't know yet. We don't know what's going on. That's why, again, I was like, well, let's wait for this stuff to, mull over and get a definitive answer before too much. But at least this is setting us with a baseline of where everything's at the moment.
You have to ask the question. Okay, there's a couple things I want to continue on this, and then we can move on if you want. So, a couple things. One, first question is, you're the computer guy, you're the techno guy. I'm just the guy that pushes paper and does PR, right? And even at that, I'm not great because I still have failed Nerdy Neo. Nerdy Neo, I'm sorry. Just keep kicking me in the shin. I'm on vacation. I'm on holiday next. I'm on holiday, so we should get together and do something. Here's the question. The specs of the OLED, the specs of the Switch and Switch 2, albeit I know you just said we don't have a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, does it justify a $150 jump? Take tariffs out of it. Take the economy out. Well,
right.
No, don't take the tariffs out. Take the economy. Like, that is a lot of money for a console. Now, granted, people are paying, for $500 for an Xbox. Well, that's an Xbox. That's not a handheld. That is an Xbox. That is a proper console. Well, no, hold on, man. The Switch is a proper console too because you can dock it on the computer. It's like, okay, fine, but like I also don't want to play with nunchucks. I had my days with the Wii. Like, I want to, it's just different in my mind, and maybe it's not. But
I have to kind of laugh because my brother and I have we have the completely different perspective on the Switch. To us, it's a home console, not the portable side of it. Like, to us, it's not a portable console. To us, it's the home system because I know it. I am aware of that, but like, to our perspective of it, that's just how we mainly use it anyways. Like, yeah, we've used it occasionally on the go, but it's mainly used at home. And that's how that's like, for me, like, mobile gaming hasn't always been a big thing and that's why I've been very like iffy even on the Steam Deck, because to me, I say I reserve my gaming for when I get home and everything, so it's always been a very funny thing. Like, to me, the Switch 2 console is still very much a home console. I plug it up to the TV and I play, and that would be the preferred way to play. I use the controller and the Pro controller. I don't use the Joy-Cons really because I hate the Joy-Cons. They're too small for my freaking hands. So yeah.
For the people listening, this is probably the second time Fractured and I have disagreed.
Right.
One, when he said, what did you say? You said you had the game dynamics was better than Shadows of the Empire. That was the first. That was the one time we disagreed. What game was it? You said, "Oh, it's actually better gameplay." What game were we reviewing?
I don't know what game we were talking about, but
you said it.
I always caution. Yes, because I caution people with old games that aren't used to those sort of old games where unlike us that grew up with them, know how to play them and don't have a problem readapting to them. New people looking at these games will, yes, have a very different perspective, which is why I caution people about older games.
No. We got to get Chiefster, because Chiefster, we were sat at work. I'm not going to say where we were, but we were sat in that place at work
and
He's trying to drag you in.
you started it, and I fired back. You said some snarky comment, and
I
I
probably
fired
did say a
back.
snarky comment, but I don't remember to
And
what
then
effect.
and Sheepster backed me up only for the perspective that he wanted to, I think, press your button. So hopefully he was genuine in backing me up, or he's just trying to stir the pot between you and I, which is absolutely plausible because that's 100% what
That's
you
his
would do.
MO. Yeah.
That is his MO, but I forget what it was. But yeah, you had the audacity to say not only at work but also on live stream that this gameplay was worse than
And
Heir of the
yet,
Empire.
no. And yet, on Nerdy Neo's top 5 for Star Wars games, I
Subjective.
named Shadows of the Empire as my number 1.
Well, you're talking out both sides. You're talking out your rear and your front. The front and the South 40. You can't say both. Like the game that you
Cautioning
was
somebody
like
of potential gameplay that they'll find maybe a little awkward, difficult, janky, whatever you want to say, isn't a bad thing.
You were giving your stamp of approval on that asinine dog water Disney-backed game. What game was it? Where's Sheepster?
Was it Fallen Order?
Oh, Sheepster would know.
That would have been the only other game because that's the only game of theirs I've really played is Fallen Order.
Maybe I don't know. It was maybe I don't know.
I haven't played anything else of the. I haven't played the stupid Outlaws. I haven't played.
It was Outlaws.
No.
Yes, it had to have been.
If I was saying Outlaws is better than Shadows of the Empire, then I was doing that just to get under your skin.
Oh, it was either that or Survivor. It was one of those two, but because we were reviewing I'm Sheepster, he would know. He knows. Anyways, that's the first time we disagreed. And we disagreed on this one because it's not a home console. I guess you can
I know it. I know
it's a food stamp version of a
I don't disagree with you. I said from my perspective, the way I play it, the way I use it is mostly at home. I see it as still a home console. I don't see it as 100% like the port. I don't see it like the Nintendo 3DS or Game Boy or anything like that, where those were legitimately like dedicated portable consoles. The Switch is such a combination of the two. But like for my play style, the way I like playing games is mostly at home. So I personally view it as a home console. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's the
not that I disagree with you.
It will never be. It will be the Bobby Boucher of football players. It will be the Bobby Boucher of console. It will never be a home console because it's both.
I think it's just my traditional side of me. Like to me,
I don't even think. I don't know. I don't know if the I don't know. I play it on my hand. I play it the handheld version because I just don't. I'm lazy. I don't want to hook it up. And two, it's just
that's fair.
You see the graphics on an 80-inch TV. I think my brain would explode. Probably. I don't know. I don't consider it a home console, but that's just me. I consider it.
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought that was funny that your play style. No, I just thought it's funny that your play style is more portable with it. My play style is more at home with it.
Yeah,
so
because
that's what I thought was funny.
I can lay in bed and eat spaghetti and play Breath of the Wild. I can't eat spaghetti on my couch. I guess I could eat spaghetti or meatballs on my recliner and
there you go.
Play out with the Pro controller, but like. I don't know where I was going with it. Oh, so yeah, is the price point worth it? And two, now you got me all got my blood pressure. I don't even remember my second question because you're talking I was genuinely like upset. Like sometimes I fake on the show. Like when I'm upset, I was upset when he said that because Shadows of the Empire, that gameplay was absolutely fantastic.
I would take Shadows of the Empire over anything else that has ever been produced. In terms of gameplay, though, it is a little dated. That's all I was saying.
That they had a text notification for every time he jumped with that. Like when he would jump.
Oh, with the jetpack?
No, when he would just jump.
when he would just jump, or like when he got shot.
Oh yeah.
Every time he got hit, like fantastic.
Oh no, I put like I said, I put that game over. I put that game over Jedi Outcast.
I think you compare it to Outlaws, where she falls through the map. like literally falls through. It's like you botched Unreal Engine. Like, how's that possible? She fell through the map.
Oh, I know that. Outlaws is a shit show. Absolutely.
It wasn't even a beta. It was a legit like.
No, I know it was the release copy of the game, and it was horrible.
Okay. In conclusion, really quick. So, I mean, one is the genuinely speaking, is the
without knowing the actual legitimate specs of the system, it's hard to really say.
Shouldn't that irritate you though? Because
but like they at the same time, like I was expecting a bit of a price jump, because yes, they were going to try and make their system a little more powerful than the last, because that was apparently a big complaint from a lot of people. Even though, like myself, I do see that Nintendo does more for like artistic direction and stuff like that for their games versus being powerhouses in terms of graphics, because let's face it, that's what'll date your game the fucking fastest, is when you're trying to use current graphics at the highest level. And then you get a few years down the line and then suddenly things start looking a little weird. Nintendo has generally had a certain art style with some of their games, and that has helped maintain them. So figuring they were going to upgrade, it doesn't surprise me none. I would have much preferred that they kept it at even the $349 price of the Switch OLED. They have made their choice, but that just, to me, the price of the console and the price of the games are immediately the things that made me go, you know what? I think I need to go back to my original game plan and just stay away from Nintendo again, like I did when I first initial with the Wii. I should have learned my lesson with the Wii U, but I wanted to check out the Switch. I got the OLED version like 2-3 years ago. It was like a year. It was like a little bit after we moved into this place. So it's been a couple of years, but I had the great fear too that also I wasn't going to use the damn thing, and I've barely used the damn thing. I need to find ways to get use out of it, but
that's why. If you bought a PlayStation, you probably would. Like here's the thing.
No, I don't even use my PS4. And I'm done with PlayStation.
You are a proper just boycotter. This is what irritates me the most about this, and I come at this from the perspective of not having any knowledge about gaming. But what irritates me the most about this is, one, they put $150 price hike on this console. They released very minimal to no details of like what they changed on the console. And Nintendo has such a loyal following that people will buy it.
Yeah.
People in Japan will I think it's a prerequisite actually that you have to buy it if you're a citizen of Japan, I'm pretty sure. But people will buy it. Will spend the money. And they know that. And so the thing that irritates me the most, and this is, I mean, Japan is just capitalism and it's fine. It's like, fine, whatever. But like, they are so confident that people will buy this anything Nintendo because they have that loyalty established. So therefore they can do the 150 price hike. And that to me, again, like, yes, when you're a business owner, you should want to, you should want to make money. That's the whole point of being a business, but you also shouldn't be a shyster, right? Because you want repeat customers, right? So if I create a product like, and Theory Saber, I said this, when he was talking to Star Wars Marvel Purist, if I get the quote right, is like you don't want to create just a crappy product because somebody might buy it the first time, but you're not going to have a repeat customer, right? Well, the same thing works for if you're a shyster, right? If you're just, it's like the DK. There's a guy who does. We reviewed his stuff. He's DK Game or something. He basically goes out and buys all the old Nintendo stuff and then he resells it, and he charges he marks up like 300%. Right, and people buy it.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
DK, whatever his. So I could be making just 0 cents, man. But like, there's a fine line between making money and then just screwing people over at the end of the day.
And you feel like Nintendo's trying to screw people over.
Well, what justification is there? I mean, with the technology we have and the advancements we have, you're telling me that what they have done to this console with how easy it is to produce stuff, you're telling me that that justifies a $150 price hike? That to me, in my mind, $150 price hike on this thing is like a 1,500% increase in profit margin. Because like with it, I just again, I'm not a computer guy. I don't know. Maybe it's justified, but like with how easy it is to make stuff today, like this is apples to oranges, but like insulin, it makes 10 cents to it's 10 cents to it costs 10 cents to make, and we charge like people are charging 600 pharmaceutical companies charging $600.
I see what you're
300,
saying.
right?
Yeah, I know what you're
For an
trying to say.
example. So, and I just don't see it, and I won't be buying it. I told my buddy last night, like to quote the great Static 2020, it's like I'm not going to pay $400 for a Zelda machine. I'm not going to pay for it. What was it? And when he said 400, when I read his quote with his tweet, I was like, man, that's $50. It's 150 more. Well, I mean, it's a total
It's 50,
150.
yeah,
So
450.
I mean, that's now $90 more than what he quoted.
Yeah.
And to see like the people that we follow and like we engage with, like you obviously engage with them more than I, but like Melee Games, Melee K, like they've been posting.
They're getting a system.
But and that's just crazy. Like it's like, so my question is, if they're getting it, are they getting it because of it's nostalgia? Or are they getting it because they see something that I don't? They see something that we don't. Do they have
I always
higher
wondered
morals?
that myself with a lot of people when they're picking up games and stuff like that. I'm just like, but why? Because I
Here's
look
the
at
thing,
something and I'm
totally-
like, I
Well, you and I are very
can't.
frugal. Yeah, you and I are very frugal, but people who are loyal to a brand will buy that.
I like this. I liked my brother and I were kind of saying, I was like, well, we were kind of talking about like, well, we've always been very, stingy or frugal with games, but I'm like, no, I got it. We've just been very selective about our purchases. That's all.
It's a bit of both. I think it's frugal, and I think it is selective. But again, this is the thing with when you create a brand and you have clientele that's loyal to that brand, they will buy the brand. I'll give you an example. I'm an iPhone guy. I have a real iPhone. There's only one true cell phone out there. It's the iPhone, right? Samsung's, yeah, I don't know what they're doing, right? But I'm an iPhone guy. So every year, relatively speaking, I will get the new iPhone, right?
Oh
It's just
God,
something.
you're an
It's just
every
something.
year one. Oh my God.
Well, let me retract my statement. I'm part of a program to where it's basically you can upgrade to the new iPhone every year. I haven't gotten
Yeah,
the iPhone.
I know the
COVID,
programs. Yeah.
yeah, ever since COVID, I've just kind of fallen off, and I've waited because these phones are like $1,500 right when they come out. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is I'm loyal to Apple, and I will continue to buy Apple product, right? So, and sometimes I get in the mindset it's like, oh, take my money, I want it, like, and I don't really sit there and think about what kind of money I'm shelling out at the moment, right?
That
I think
what I always end up looking at too, because I was like, ooh, I may want to get the new Galaxy S25, I think it is, and I started looking at the different versions. I'm like, and in comparison to my Samsung, I think I have the A55 or something like that, 54.
well, we'll get
And
you
I'm like,
also.
I was like looking at specs. I'm like, and that's the thing, like you have to research what you're looking to potentially buy. And I looked at things. I'm like, oh, some of their stuff, some of their cameras and stuff isn't that much more powerful than mine in what I'm looking to do. So
The
I have the
basic question,
53.
why?
So I was just like, oh, so why should I bother then?
So that's my question. If again, profit margins are great. If like that's fine, right? But there's got to be a point in time where you cross over from being a reputable business owner to just a shyster that's out to just price gouge people, right? And that's the problem I have. Like, run a business and be successful. That's fine, but have a little bit of like understanding of like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna like charge this amount of money. Like, there's just I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of honor. I guess I don't know. Like
Let me
within business, maybe there's no honor.
let
Maybe
me
it's just all
pose
about the
this. Let me pose this. So we're looking at the price now, yes, at the $450 mark. Let's look at that for just the base system, right?
yeah.
Okay, so what do you say then when the fact that the Nintendo Switch nearly came out nearly 10 years ago? came out March 3rd, 2017. We're just 2 years shy of being full 10 years. So how do you look at it like that then? When you try and take that into consideration.
That it was still $300 back then. Are you telling me that $300 back in 2017 is $450 now?
That's true.
I'm not a
you
big-
no
I'm
no.
not a-
You bring up a very because you're then that's the adjust for inflation, right? So
I'm not a big, like I said, I'm not a.
that's something not a lot of people consider either. But you have a point. But I just
Right.
wanted to try and bring that into consideration. Look at it then versus look at it now. So in terms of certainly the system specs then versus system specs now and what they could potentially be.
But that's what I'm trying to understand. I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a tech guy. The question I'm posing is, are you gonna, not you, but are you gonna sit there and tell me that with all the like within the computer realm and all the technology, like you were having to pay these people $70 an hour to do 10 minutes worth of work? That's exaggeration. It's probably not 10 minutes worth of work, obviously, but I'm just saying, like,
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just at the end of the day, like, things should get easier and not harder. And this is a really dumb example, but it'll fit, right? There's no reason why movies, like Star Wars 20 years ago should be better 20 years ago than now with the technology and the advancement, right? So that's a bad example, but like, why is it that consoles are just going up in price when we have all the technology and whatnot where they should be going down but still make I don't know.
Because there's a lot of factors going on. That's the problem with it, because you have to also look at the way a lot of so we're gonna get, god damn, we're really going into the weeds on this.
No, but I think it's important because it's like, listen, if we can do anything, on this show, I would like to just help, help people make informed decisions. And I just, like I said, I'm not just a frugal, hermit, man. Like I will spend money, but like I just, in my guts telling me, I just think it's very shystery, man. I just don't see $150 price hike justified. In the 450 and the 490 for, getting a $30 discount off a game, like I just don't understand it.
Right.
So,
no, and like it is a lot of the
they've
when
almost turned into this place of just, not to cut you off, it's almost like they've just focused more about ways to make money than like serving the customer, right? We talked about before the show, the expansion pack that I have. Like, I have this OLED Switch and I have the Switch Online, which I think most people would probably have if they want to play certain games. But I got the expansion pack, and I don't think the expansion pack is worth it. Granted, it's only it's only $25 or $49, whatever it was a year, but it's not. It's not worth it because you don't have access to every single game that Nintendo ever produced on the 64. It's only select games, so it's like,
no, yeah, and as they slowly but surely release them and stuff like that.
So I paid you $350 for the console. I'm paying you, anywhere from $40 to $70 for the game. I'm paying you the online play, and then I'm paying you for the expansion pack, right? And you're only going to give me Turok, Perfect Dark, and a couple of the Metroids and the Zelda games. There's a little bit more than that, but I mean, those are
That's just a little example.
So what am I getting for my $49, right? And then the thing that I'd say with the new Switch is like, okay, I just gave you $450 or $490, depending if you want the Mario game. Don't even know what the Mario game is going to be like. No trailers come out, so you're just basically taking a shot in the dark, 50-50, that is either going to be good or bad, that you're going to get a dividend on your return if you buy this game, right? You don't know the specs. So that in itself, you should understand that that's going to make people, if anybody's smart, right, they should be asking questions before they buy something. Like, okay, like why is it this much of a price hike? What are they offering? What are they not offering? And they haven't released those details. So you're basically like, you're just like, well, I love Nintendo, so I guess I'll just spend the money for it because I'm not going to assume that they're going to make good stuff, right?
You
But then it's like
basically, you basically just hit it. That's all it's going to amount to at this point. And
And
that's what a lot of it's amounted to a lot. Like you said, with your Apple, you don't see as any other thing, reasonable out there. So you're just with Apple.
no reason. there's no reason why uh, digital games should cost what they do. There's
Oh, I
absolutely
absolutely agree with that.
you-
That was supposed to
you're
be like the
not
whole point initially too, is that they're meant to be at a cheaper price point than physical.
because it's digital. You can't sit there and tell me, oh well, to upload a game is more expensive than making a physical copy in the game and the art and like printing and like no, that is asinine. And the fact that they're going to charge $90 for a car. You've seen the size of those cartridges. You're telling me that it's cost if they make the same cartridges like the Switch game, you're going to tell me that little thing, that little smaller than a stamp, that microchip is going to be $90? Like maybe smaller stuff costs more. I don't know, but that is insane. Absolutely crazy. And in my mind, unjustifiable.
Yeah.
And what just like I said, what infuriates me the most is people will do this because they're loyal to Nintendo. And I've been there, brother. I have bought stuff, and I've shelled out money on stuff that I probably shouldn't have because I've been loyal to brand.
Guilty.
You know, I've done it with McFarlane DC figures. I collect DC McFarlane so I've definitely spent some money on those, right? When I probably shouldn't have, because in hindsight, I'm like, man, I spent $49 on this 12-inch statue. What am I? Thing doesn't even move. He doesn't even talk to me.
But it looks cool, doesn't it?
But it does, right? It's kind of like you do with the Godzilla stuff. Like you will shell out the money for Godzilla. So that's the thing. I don't know, man. Now I'm just really irritated because now that when we talk more about this and get it into the weeds, and we've spent an hour plus on this subject, that I just
I think you're absolutely right. People really should consider their purchases very strongly, but it's now just become such a knee jerk. It's
and Nintendo will not back off this price. I guarantee they will not back off this price because they know people will buy. And if you know that, and if you have a monopoly on a certain sector, right, you can confidently set whatever price you want because people are gonna. It's like Albertsons, the local store here, right? They comparatively to other grocery stores mark up their prices. Why? Well, would it make sense for them to mark up their prices because there's other grocery stores that are far less expensive, but they do that because it's a pride thing, and they know that they have people that are loyal. People like, oh, I shop at this store because I've got X amount of money. Might be a bad example, but the point I'm making is prices because they know they have the loyalty.
It's kind of like what Apple kind of once represented before more and more phones came on the market and became less and less of a thing, but it's very much they're kind of pushing it to trying to be like a status symbol sort of thing, to where look, I'm the one with this home system, or I'm the one with this graphics card now, or I'm the one with I loved how it was very much put in even like the Jurassic Park book. It's like it'll be made for the certain group of people, but it'll become such a status symbol that even the people that can't normally afford such a thing will do what they have to so they can say, I've done a thing.
Yeah. But I don't think Nintendo was ever like that. And maybe, like I said, in my mind, it's just a subjective thought, but I always thought, and I always viewed Nintendo as the company that cared about the product they put out, right?
Yeah.
At a reasonable price, comparatively speaking. And to sit here and say, oh, well, inflation's the reason why they have 100, that's a stretch, man. I don't understand inflation. I'm not an economics guy, but I just don't understand. Within 7 years, you're going to tell me within 7 years, $150 is justified for the console that may have varying specs. Well, again, I'd feel better, and I'd put this to bed if we knew the specs. I'd be like, okay, fine. It's got a Intel Core processor. It's got a Ryzen, whatever graphics card. It's got 18 lithium lithium battery that plays for 18 hours. Absolutely, take my money. I'll give you $200 for that.
Right.
Or $200 price hike for that, because at least I know what I'm getting, right? Don't know what I'm getting, and that's the thing that bothers me the most. And I just have to sit here and either wait until they release, or wait until somebody buys one and then shows me the differences. But even then, you can't really tell the difference inside of a game unless you like take it apart. So at the end of the day, we'll put this to bed if you want, but it's the fact that it's just the unknown, and it's the fact that like Nintendo has now joined the vile ranks of Microsoft and PS5 in regards to being just shysters and charging asinine prices for games.
I can't say I disagree with you. And what I'll put this the rest with is that, everything that I had been observing from Nintendo for the past few days when this was first announced and everything has not sit well with myself as well. And again, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I had moved away from Nintendo with the Wii. I should have stayed away even from the Wii U, but I got a little bit sucked in. I was like, oh my God, that seems really cool. And I should have stayed away from the Switch as I had for so long before finally picking one up. I just think I should have stayed done with Nintendo when I did, because they aren't offering me the sort of stuff that they're not even their exclusives anymore are that interesting to me. Everything that they've done everything that they've done that really grabbed me, really drugged me in, is everything in the past. And you know what? I think like all the rest of the systems, that's where it's going to stay for me, is that I'll just continue to play their games from the past, because those are the ones that still hold such a strong effect on me.
No pun intended to Justin or Star Wars Marvel, or not Justin and Star Wars Theory, but I have a theory here that with the expanded editions and the deluxe editions and everything, my thought here is that what if they just break up the game? What if they create the game as a whole, right? And the whole game includes the expanded, the deluxe, it has everything, right? And then they just break off, or they divide the game up into like 3 sections, to where like the main game that you get is, whatever, always the expanded is the 70. So they're breaking up the whole game that they've produced, and then they're just giving you. Does that make sense? It's like
you're giving them ideas, man. What are you doing?
No,
but I mean, that's a fact. That what you're talking about is basically like DLC and stuff, and how some game companies have, purposely chopped up games to repackage as, get a load of this digital content that we've provided for you now.
Right. It's just
give us $29.99.
Right. It's like Diablo. We've produced the game, but we're going to make you think that the 2 other versions that we offer are outside the regular game that we've included.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't make sense, because maybe the stuff that they offer does change the game, but like the premise is still the same. You've created a game, and you're basically like you're putting water and gasoline and charging that gasoline the same price as normal gasoline, even though you're not getting the full amount of gasoline that you would if you went to another. Does that make sense?
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's a watered down product.
Yeah, Kroger got in trouble because they got investigated for putting, I believe, water in their gas. So you're just watering it. I don't know.
Talk about shysters. Holy shit.
Because it's like, what's the difference between expanded and deluxe? It's just produce the game. I don't think companies are that devoted to do any extra work for the consumer. I think they made a game and they've chopped it up and they sell it out.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
I don't think we've ever gone an hour and 30 minutes on a topic. So
it's been a while. It's been a while. We've almost hit 2, but I think that's where we'll put this one to rest.
Is there any final thoughts as we put in?
No, I gave mine. Like I said, I'm going to probably stay away from the system entirely. I can't guarantee it, but that's going to be my feelings, is I just want to stay away from this system now.
As we segue away from this, do you see Steam becoming just as disreputable as Microsoft?
It's bound to happen. I don't want it to, but just like anything else, it's a possibility.
And then my last question would be, would you consider Nintendo now a part of the same, basically on the same level as Microsoft and Sony in regards to shysters?
Basically.
Did you have that?
That's kind of sad.
Or after we talked about this topic?
more
we
as
just
you've
progressive
kind of,
with our
more as you've kind of talked about it. Yeah, you really laying in. I'm like, yeah, he's not technically wrong. And I think it really is. I'm just
Hardly
gonna
am I ever
stick with
right,
my
but
PC gaming at this point. I'm a happy camper.
hardly ever am I right. So it's very kind of you to say. But yeah, I just anyways, moving on.
Moving along. Let me hit the chat. We've kind of ignored chat a little bit,
Sorry.
so let's get through some of this. So Melissa Lord had said, the biggest problem is the digital codes. Even when you buy a physical copy, it's not a real physical copy. It just lets you download the game. So fuck that. Yeah, it's like a weird lien, like you're getting a lien on a game or so, a loan on a game. You aren't. You own nothing and be happy, right? I mean, that's basically what is being practiced, and even Nintendo is deciding to pick up on it. I said it before, it's like their own goofy little idea of we're trying to minimize pirating. So we're going to initiate all these obnoxious little things to get in the way when, when companies have lessened that sort of stuff, when they've removed things like de novo and everything, it's often been more beneficial to them. The player base has responded positively, and often with less pirating. So go figure. And when they put out a good freaking game, let's not forget that. That's the most important part too. Backseater says, you just know Harmon Smith is going to just make excuses for this decision. Melissa Lord said, now they are probably raising the price on the console too. I'll keep pirating. Keep pirating. Yarr! Yep. I'm kind of there too. Star Wars Marvel purist. Hello, sir. How's it going? Saying toxic Gwifta, clickbaiter, hater, entering the chat. What's up, guys? Hello, sir. Hope you're still hanging out and enjoying the stream. You have leveled up. Toxic grifter, clickbaiter, hater. My God, sir. One of these days I gotta watch your little back and forth with Star Wars Theory. I heard it was interesting. I heard it was a good time.
Oh, it was. I don't know if Justin's still in the chat, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually watched it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh wow.
I did. Definitely 2, but yeah, it was. That's all the good questions. I got DM him. Don't let me forget.
Okay. Timon was at halftime at one point, and he's saying hi to everyone. Everybody's greeting. That's awesome. Timon said Switch games will be emulated. Pretty much. Nerdy Neo says the older stuff is emulated, obviously, but a Series X runs Xbox One games natively. Okay. Oh, well, yeah, I figured it was the older stuff that was being emulated. Sorry, I guess I should have been more precise in what I was saying, too. Sorry. Nerdino said they said it would return after 2 weeks automatically. So that was the digital rentals, the digital share system with the Switch. Nerdino also said GameCube controller is best for Smash Bros. Melissa Lord had said I actually own all my pirated games. Well, I do too. And she says they're on my 16 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, I've done the same thing. I back up the games that I particularly like, and that's the thing. Like my brother was kind of saying it too. He's like, that's the better thing about the pirated games is the fact that they're in a more stable ecosystem than your purchase games that you are having to run into, like, their constant updates to where, especially when it came to freaking BioWare and Star Wars The Old Republic and everything, they were breaking everything, or they're breaking major things with each updates and stuff like that. And that's happened with other single player games too. They just can't help themselves. They feel they have to keep doing all this obnoxious stuff. And it's like, no, it's not. You don't have to. Just leave it alone. Melissa Lord says software as a service is trash. They like live service games. What Adobe has done with Photoshop, what Intuit did with QuickBooks, etc. Oh God, they've just and I use an old version of Photoshop myself. It's really sad because I generally enjoyed their product, but now the way they've bogged everything down with their services and stuff like that, it's just obnoxious. But then, hey, I also never quite. I don't know. I always sailed for that one too, so yeah, I can't exactly get too mad at them, considering I was never quite a purchaser of their software. But you know, certainly hasn't ingratiated me to do so, because I've also considered doing it. But it's just like, well, you guys have bogged everything down with your goofy systems. Why should I? And I prefer the older versions at this point. Nerdinio says more options are always better, even if it's something you'll never use. Yeah, if you got it and don't need it instead of needing it and don't have it, you know. Oh, regarding the mouse controls, but what's gonna be what's the use? That's what I'm still trying to understand. Marvel Purist had said, Jacob even blocking my Twitter X followers that don't interact with him. Oh no. Oh no. I wonder if I'm blocked. I don't remember what the hell is. What his Twitter handle is, but that's funny. That doesn't surprise me. Gamefly still exists. You are, yeah. Neo, I completely forgotten about Gamefly altogether. And then you mentioned that, and I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, they are still available. I hadn't realized that. I was like, oh my god, that really surprised me. I thought it gone defunct or something. Melissa Laura said, I'm old. I've been playing games since 1982, Atari 2600. I've seen a lot. Yes, you have. Even the game crash that happened then. I mean, I want that to happen again. I so freaking do. I know it won't. I know it won't happen, but man, just like the cancellation of the Knights of the Old Republic remake, I keep doing that dance of cancellation. Except in this case, the dance of the collapse of the gaming empire. Melissa Lord says, and Nintendo is just doing that same corporate commie BS all the others do. Microtransactions to allow you to play Switch 1 games, making you not really be able to own your games, etc. Oh, 110%, Melissa. God damn. It's so obnoxious. And I mean, like,
Mr. Lord brought up a good point though just now. You actually don't own your games, so you only have the games as long as you pay for the subscription.
No, you basically have a license to play to unlock the game and everything. Well, like they can take it away at any time.
Right. It's no different than like Game Pass on Microsoft. You can play those games as long as you have the subscription. The minute you stop the subscription, you don't have the game.
Exactly.
Versus if I physically go buy a game, then I physically have that game, and they can't take that game away from me.
Exactly. Well, but that's the advantage though. All you're doing is you're paying for a service, but it's not like you're having to pay full price, right? For those games that come out, and periodically you get to play those games for free, right? So what's the big deal? Sure, we can take them away at any time, and at any time you decide to stop supporting our system, we'll take them away from you, even though you've added them to your game library for the games that we've given you for free for having Game Pass. It's such a load of horse shit. Star Wars Mario Pierce had said, yeah, I was playing in television at a young age. Not sure I was too though. Yeah, Nerdy Neo had pointed out how the Switch 2 is $450. Melissa Lord said it's one of my first memories playing with my big sister and older cousin. Oh, that's awesome. Backseater said there's just a point for a lot of people where they say, I don't care how much I want that. Don't care how much I want that. I'm not paying that much money. Melissa Lord, he knows brand names. I think that was when you started rattling off all the different tech parts and stuff.
Oh, I don't know brand names.
You do.
Oh, I
Because
just like one or two.
Nerdy Neo is saying you get a hold you to that. I believe when you said you're gonna hit him up.
Oh yeah.
Nerdy Neo also said amazed at the depth of Hitman's technical know-how.
Listen, I can't even properly start a stream. This fracture has to do it. I just wait in the lobby.
Nerdy Neo said Shadows of the Empire was on my top 5 too. Yeah. Also, fave doesn't necessarily mean good. See? Melissa Lord says neither of those games are even close to Shadows. No, they're not. I tried to explain to Hitman. I like to just caution people with older games. That's all.
I don't know why you would. It was fantastic. There's no need.
Timon says it has a dock, so you can use it both ways. Giggity. Nerdy Neo says it absolutely is a home console. It's the sequel to the Wii U. In regards to the Switch.
Listen, there will always be those of us that are part of the resistance. Meaning that
I resist.
I resist the force.
Black Pill Timon said, but at this price, it won't be a secondary gaming set. It will compete directly with PC, PS5, and Xbox. Yeah, they're getting to that point now. Nerdy Neo says, I think if they drop it to 400, they'll earn a lot of goodwill with the fans.
Yeah, but they won't. Unless they just, again,
unless there's enough pressure from the fan base. Now, this is going to be all left into the fans' hands. If they can actually make enough noise and be like, dudes, you're fucking up here. This needs to change.
The only way they do that is if nobody buys it. But again, like, we know that at least the whole country of Japan will buy it.
Well, theirs is the cheaper version, too. Not the 450, but the last I heard it was like 350 and 400 for theirs. But again, there's a difference to that. Timon said, I'm done with consoles too. PS5 was my last. The games are too expensive. Yeah, for me, the Switch is going to be my last console, I think, at this point. And like I said, just my Switch is just collecting dust, and I need to. I do want to play Metroid Prime, the remaster. It was looking really good. I did start it up and everything, and I was getting through the first area. But God, it's just I have everything at such a convenience with my PC, and like it is, I don't generally like to play on the go. I probably should, but it just doesn't. I don't. Again, it also has to do with the Joy-Cons and everything. For me, the Joy-Con controllers are too small, so when I have it connected to the tablet and everything, it's just hard for me to feel like I get a good grip and play properly. For me, the Pro controller is perfect. It's the right size. It feels comfortable for me, and so. It's just how I prefer to play. That's why for me, it's all about having it docked and at home and stuff. Nerdy Neo says, especially when Zelda isn't really Zelda anymore, bro. Breath of the Wild is such a tit. Like, I've always said it's like a very double-edged sword with how they laid that game out. There's some good to it. There's some bad to it. And to me, there's too much bad to it. It's great that they open things up and everything to being able to like go to practically any temple you want in any order you want. But I kind of like having that sense of a path and a purpose to going to each different place instead of just like, oh, go willy-nilly. To me, I just kind of felt like, so where should I go first? Especially since the Zelda games have always had such a routine of like, this, you go to this temple, you go to that temple, you go to this temple, get the things, progress, and so forth. So and then just the way all the goddamn weapons are so freaking brittle. Even the Master Sword. Nerdino said, I said it on town hall last night. It depends on how important Nintendo's first party games are to you. Yeah, there's that aspect of it as well. And I guess I've just fallen out with Nintendo at this point. But other than like their older games, I much prefer their older stuff. And yeah, I gotta get through more of that the Zelda Town Hall that Melee Games was doing, because I was enjoying it. It's funny how they had talk about going on to different tangents. Nerdy Neo said, I used to upgrade my phone every 2 years. Now it's more 4 to 5. Yeah, I was usually about the 4 to 5 generally, or if I could, I might, if the occasion allowed it. Nerdino says, I think the most shyster thing they're doing is the GameCube is only available on Switch 2 when Switch 1 can easily run those games. Yeah, that's some douchey shit right there. It's unfortunate. Marvel Pure said, I'm all of the bad YouTubers. And then said, thanks, J Hitman. I missed a couple of opportunities, but it also couldn't continue the way it started, or he would have left. LOL.
Oh yeah.
I will continue to perform ancient Sith rituals to keep KOTOR from being remade. Let's go. We need all that energy to keep that thing away. Nerdy Neo said, the difference is you can buy games on Game Pass. Nintendo Online doesn't have the option to purchase those games outright. Timon said, game over. We won 3-0. Go Corinthians. Let's fucking go. Marvel Pierce said, I use my phone until it completely falls apart. Yep. That was my last phone, especially. Like it just got to a point where the screen was just so badly cracked I had to replace it. Timon said, I only upgrade my phone when it stops working properly. Yep. Yeah. Both in agreement. Timon and Marvel Pierce are in agreement. Whew. Okay. Chat is caught up with. Wow. I can't believe how much time we spent on that alone.
The whole show.
Right? I don't even know if I'm going to clip that out. Jesus. I'd have to really go through it and keep any dead air out and everything like that.
Right. And there wasn't a lot of dead air in there.
No, there wasn't. We kept going. So I do have a couple of things. I have a few things. I have a few trailers. And so I figure the one we should probably go into. And I'll even let you kind of pick. So for the different trailers that I have right now that we could queue up is I have the Karate Kid Legends trailer, the Naked Gun trailer, the Superman sneak peek, and the new animated series coming from Star Wars, Tales of the Underworld. Superman it is. Okay. Here we go. We're going to go in. Oh, whoops. Superman sneak peek it is. Timona said Naked Gun. Oh, you don't want that pain. You don't want that pain. Dan Blackroyd, how's it going, sir? Saying you haven't even mentioned Thunderbolts once. Step up your game. I didn't know anything new had come about. Is there anything new? Nerdy Neo says Naked Gun looks pretty great. I was with Static. Once the whole in the beginning of the trailer, the mask comes off. that was just no. And Brad as well, Duke Devil 95. He's just like, this is not Naked Gun. And to me, it just that I know Liam Neeson is supposed to be playing Frank Drebin Jr., but to me, that was just Leslie Nielsen's series. That was his. Be like replacing Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell. You just don't do it. And hello, New York, Florida man. How's it going? Saying James Gunn is literally going to screw the pooch. All right, let's go into this. All right. It's shared for you, Hitman. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull this back over here. Make sure the sound is sharing for everybody here. Superman sneak peek. This is 4 minutes 50, whatever. Here we go. Bring on the pain.
And just walk as Fortress of Solitude. He could just walk that way. Could just crawled. That's insane.
He was almost there. He was just that close. Like Marvel Purist pointed out, why would the sun hurt him if it's healing him? And he was already outside, and it didn't look like it was particularly overcast. So, yeah,
It's like it's a shot of epinephrine. Isn't
I guess like just plug it into my veins. Let's look it up.
Yeah, the equivalent of him flying like into the sun or very close to the sun.
Marvel Pierce says the sun is like rubbing alcohol. I guess so. Just right into the wounds, and it just was not doing him any favors.
The robots bring more context, so it's not Brainiac. So the original trailer that I watched, when we saw that scene, I was like, I thought it could have been Brainiac, but it just says robot slaves or people that I don't know anything about.
Well, like I said, I get. Oh, okay. I guess it's a little bit overcast and everything, but
yeah, that's
like
Dagobah. That's cloudier than Dagobah. I'm sorry, Hoth, not Dagobah.
But I mean, come on. Like the UV rays are usually still whatever. Comic book shit. I don't know. Like this was kind of
like Crypto.
Huh?
That's very Cars. That reminds me of Cars. The eyeball.
The eyeball.
Very Cars looking. Yeah, very Cars graphic looking. I don't know. Just reminds me of Cars. Big Cars.
Yeah, Marvel Pierce said this trailer made me less interested in than the teaser trailer did. I haven't been too like vested in this anyways. I've never been a big Superman fan to begin with, but this certainly isn't dragging in a non-fan. And to me,
listen, I need this to be good, okay? I need you to just white pill it, put your black pill away. I need this to be good. Okay, you were positive on Wormhole Watch a couple weeks ago. I need you to be positive.
Yeah,
because
but
I really need
but Duke Devil keeps telling me I need to be black pilled fractured, so
I get it, because you being positive does not fit you at all. But for this is the exception to the rule. I need this movie to be good because I have not seen a good DC movie since Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Okay.
There has not been a singular movie since then that has been good. Every single one in consecutive order has been trash. If I get another Jared Leto level performance, I'm gonna lose my mind. I may have to ask Star Wars Marvel Purist to have me on the show so he can help do knowledge of Marvel, because I might have to go to Marvel if this happens. Like that's how upset I am. Can you see my face right now? Do you see you can envision my face? Like,
oh
you
yeah,
see how serious? I'm very serious right now. I need this to be good.
believe you. I believe you.
Cannot be botched. And right now, based off these robots, I get the feeling that this is going to be botched.
Especially how quirky they were acting. Oh my god, he looked at me.
Yeah. Okay. Needed to be good. I was slightly excited to see the Fortress of Solitude. Thought that was pretty cool. on like I'm okay with it.
Well, like
I'm
my
here for it.
question was, is it meant to be able to like come up from the ground like that, or was it always supposed to be
I
present in the?
well, our Christopher Reeve's movie, I think it was only, it wasn't like
It was always
retract.
there. Like, yeah,
It
it
was
didn't
always there.
retract or hide or anything like
To
that.
not to my knowledge, but I mean, again, this was, is this a different universe? Is this Earth 2? Well, here's the other thing. This could be Earth 2 because I think Ultraman was leaked. Not in the movie, not in the trailers, but McFarlane came out and said I saw the list of the action figures they're making or collectibles that they're making for this movie, and Ultraman was one of them. So this could be Earth 2, and I don't know if it's on Earth 2, if that changes the Fortress of Solitude or even what you have you. I don't think it would be on Earth 2 because I mean this is clearly Superman, so I think it would probably take place. My guess would take place on Earth, and then Ultraman would somehow. I don't know, which leads me to believe that like I don't know if it's going to fall into like a crime syndicate type movie because the crime syndicate was a comic that had obviously Ultraman and was it Owlman? No, Owlman was different. Owlman could have been in it, I think, but basically Ultraman is like Superman gone bad.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this part was kind of like what? I mean, I know like Marvel Purist does point out, where was it? How it's magnifying the sun rays, but still, it just seems so weird that it effectively acts like it's hurting him. And he says people are going to be begging for Man of Steel 2 after this shit show. And he says, I believe it, and this is referring to the magnifying of rays. I believe it's in the comics, but I'm no Superman expert. So yeah, and like he says, modern Marvel is a sinking ship, my friend. You'll find no solace there.
Well, yes, and yes. I guess I should have clarified. Old Marvel, old like.
Yeah, back issues.
I'm
and
just gonna
stuff
go
like
back
that.
to like the maybe, and I'm several Marvel purists. You probably know the old amalgam comics. Was analogous, where DC and Marvel writers came together and created like basically. I don't know how they didn't get copyrighted, but they basically came together. I don't know if it was during close to a writing strike or. They came out with comics, and I actually have a few where they created characters. They fused like different characters, like Spider-Man and there's different characters. Like there's a Doctor Strange mixed with a Magneto, or I don't quote me. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
about it, but I'll just go back to those comics, man.
Timon saying, "Don't give in, fractured." Oh, I'm not.
I think we should write a poll. I think we should go out and watch this, and we should do a live feed. We'll do like an actual live show.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like
before and after.
Nothing about this to me is like I'm seeing problems. Like, especially if the idea that, I mean, I guess
admit, though, it's so much better than Acolyte.
Well, anything's better than Acolyte at this point, but like you even have like this little bit where he's just hanging out having a coffee and it looks like an alien's attacking the city.
I thought that was it's a really cheap version of Starro. I don't know what that is.
That's
an Amoeba.
I guess like shouldn't that be something he's already out there dealing with?
No, because he's about to kiss Lois or MJ.
But there's imminent danger to people,
but listen,
to civilians.
Listen, when you're in the moment, man, like the moment.
Oh, okay, fair enough, I guess.
Like he's about to get the girl. Like, leave him alone. He's off duty.
Hey, Captain Keeley, how's it going, sir?
He's in uniform. He's in his suit too.
That's he's crazy. In his suit and everything. So it brings more questions.
Maybe his uncle had just died, and now he's just depressed.
New York, Florida man put it perfectly. The hideout is a grower, not a shower. So there you go.
I will still take this, and I don't want anybody. I don't want to get backlash for this, but I'd still watch this over Thunderbolts.
Oh no! I think Dan Blackroyd's gonna downvote the stream now.
I just can't with. I'll take the robots over the Russian red guy.
Oh no! Oh no! Dan Blackward did say, "Don't worry, guys. At the test screening, someone yelled, Fantastic Four is fucked. Corporate shills would never exaggerate about an upcoming movie. Absolutely not." And Sorrows Marvel Pierce says, "When I watch Superman, I want to see him saved by his dog and some robots."
I do think it's a nice touch to bring Crypto in, specifically because Crypto's obviously in the comics and that's never been explored. So I want to get the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna black pill right now, but I do want.
It is a cute dog.
It is. It's Crypto. Yeah. Did you know? Fun fact of the day that Batman had a dog. It's called Bat Hound.
I remember him having a dog in Batman Beyond, but that's all I remember.
No, yeah, it's.
I didn't know
The
he
Bat
had his.
was Bat Hound. Yep, it was like a great. What was it? I forget what it was. Not a
Great Dane or something.
No, it was like I forget. I'm not good with dog breeds, but he had one. Did you also know he used to use a gun back in the early comics?
I am very well aware of that. Yes.
Well, just didn't know if you knew that.
But so Dan Blackroyd said lies, and Marvel Pure said you just lost Blake's friendship. And Dan Blackroyd said, "I don't think Hitman has seen the trailers properly."
Oh, I've seen them. I have seen them, and so has Fractured. I love Marvel humor.
That's what this had too. Oh yeah, so yeah, because this had some of that Marvel humor with the robots interacting with each other like that. You were already in, huh?
Yeah,
you were already in.
Why?
No, come on, really, purist. He said Marvel Purist says it's my understanding this is James Gunn's fucking dog. Come on.
Oh, actually, I think it is.
Come on. Has it gotten to like such a I already know he puts his wife in everything too, I think, or at least production wise.
Okay, hold on. You can't talk crap on him because Leslie Headland put the Baldilocks in as a Jedi.
Baldilocks. Listen,
the Green Martian Man.
I know. Listen, I'm sorry, Hitman, but I am sensing problems. I am sensing disaster for the Supermans.
No,
I don't think he's gonna have a good time.
Listen, don't just white pill it, okay? Yes, James Gunn. Yes, this is according to Google. Yes, James Gunn's dog Azu inspired the inclusion
inspired. Oh,
and he said it will be part of the film.
Melissa Lord just said Gunn said it was a self-insert for his dog. New York, Florida man. It's his quote fucking dog. I told you he was gonna screw the pooch. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't mean it like that.
Haters gonna hate. This has to be good, okay? This has to be good. Like if this is another flop, I'm just done. I'm done.
You're done.
I'm gonna go back and just rewatch the old X-Men franchise with Hugh Jackman and Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart on YouTube. If this is bad, I'm just gonna go back to those days.
Oh. Marvel purist, yes. Dan Blacker said, "Have you forgotten the Absolute Cinema Thunderbolts trailer? 8mm. Very worried about these new revelations. Something drastic will be done to correct it." He has hope. Dan Blackroyd has hope for the Thunderbolts. You know what?
Well,
let's go. It's gonna save Marvel.
Hold on. You're the biggest hypocrite I know because Dan Blackroyd just said that, and then you're like, "Oh, it's bad that they're doing reshoots on Superman." Like, go suck a fart. How's it okay for what Dan Blackroyd's saying, but we can't do reshoots for this movie? Hypocrite.
It spells
Go sit on your-
disaster. Spells disaster, brother.
Go sit on your throne of lies. I'm mad now because you sat there and backed him, but besmirched me after saying reshoot wasn't a bad thing. Get out of here. Kick me from the show right now. I'm done. Done with you.
You leave it anytime.
Seriously, how dare you? That's terrible of you. Is your depravity no bounds?
No.
You've hit an all-time low. All due respect.
Hey man, I'm sorry. Okay, it's all
No,
in
you're
jest.
not.
It's all in jest. It's all in just some
I
ribbing
know.
and everything.
Oh no, it's more than ribbing.
Oh, how dare you!
You need to clip that. Reshoot's not okay, but changing is okay. Get out of here. Dan Blackbird, I'm DMing you after the show too. I got worse.
Marvel Pure says, "Oh, they're already coming back in the MCU. Hitman, Fox, X-Men gotta save the MCU." That's right. And Dan Blackbird said, "This sort of division and anger DC causes the world." You know, what I mean, God, DC, they just can't keep their shit together. They can't make a good movie. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do other than shit the bed? But that was the Superman sneak peek. I can't say I'm exactly enthused, but hey, here's hoping, right? Here's hoping. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
That's probably gonna be bad.
At the end, he just throws in the towel. Marvel Pure said Blake must have been on the catering crew for Thunderbolts. That explains it. He's hanging out in catering, getting all the deep info. Marvel Pierce had said asthmatic representation. New York, Florida man said, "Watch out, crypto. Cover the hole, boy. James is gunning for you, oh boy." Marvel Timon had said, "Snowpiercer." New York, Florida man, this is like watching Passion of the Christ, for fuck's sake. That was brutal. Timon said, "Dumb." Marvel Pierce said, "This is supposed to make people want to watch it." Bark recognition. Yeah, I caught that. I thought that was silly. Get the emo bot, says New York, Florida man. Dan Blacker said Sentry wouldn't need a dog to help him. That's true. But he's also psychotic. So Star Wars Marvel Pierce said one of them J.I. Acob's wives. Timon said the friggin' robots have capes. Did they have capes? Oop. I didn't see any, but he's probably right. CGI sucks, says Timon. That's pretty much it there. New York, Florida man on a roll, says Purist. All right. Oh boy. All right. Which trailer would we like to go into next? Shall we torture ourselves with some Star Wars?
All of them, or
we could do all of them. Yeah, I don't care.
Do Stargate, or
well, we're gonna be, because thanks to Nintendo Switch, we've kind of eaten up time.
Okay. Let's do the Star Wars one.
All right. Here it is. Tales of the Underworld for Star Wars. And hello, Jordan Star Wars. How's it going? Timon really wants the Naked Gun. All right, let's you know what? The people he has asked. We'll do the Naked Gun one really quick. It's a shorty. Here we go. Naked Gun. I personally wasn't looking to, I don't think it looks that good, but here we go. Let me just, there we go. Here we go. All right. You can see it, Hitman?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you want, little one? Your ass.
I'm sorry, but no.
Oh.
No.
Oh, because it's Seth
Seth
MacFarlane.
MacFarlane can go eat a dick.
Who are you?
Frank Drebin, Police Squad. The new version. Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr. Love you.
Hey, Dad.
Boy, do I miss you.
No. Huh?
What am I missing? Is this have any connection with an old movie or anything? Pink Panther?
You've never seen the Naked Gun movies
No.
with Leslie Nielsen? No? Never?
No.
Okay, so as somebody that is outside that sphere, what did you think of that trailer?
Don't have any idea.
Timon
How
liked
many
it. Timon saying he liked the trailer.
Men in Black face mask.
Mr. supposed black pilled over here saying he likes his trailer.
I don't know what I watched. My eyes burned when he was in the skirt.
That was that was rough. No,
I'd rather can we watch the Thunderbolt trailer actually?
I guess that's true, Melissa. She says he doesn't get it because he has never seen the original. Yeah, and Jordan Star Wars says the original Naked Gun films were classic. I agree. I said it before we started the Superman. To me, Naked Gun was because it started as Police Squad. It was like, I think I heard it was like 6 episodes. I need to watch that one of these days. I haven't seen that, but I've seen the 3 movies. I love the 3 movies. I think they're fun and hilarious and great. Leslie Nielsen kills it. And the whole Frank Drebin character is his character. And the thing is, he passed away a long time ago. Priscilla Presley passed away not too long ago as well. You've lost the core. You lost all the people that were all part of it. So yeah, it's just like that. And to me, I know they, like I said, Liam Neeson is playing Frank Drebin Jr. Supposed to be playing his son, but even then he says this is the new version, which still makes you think, is it they act like it's going to be like a reboot, but it's not, because then they show Leslie Nielsen's Frank Drebin on the wall that he's saying, he's saying his words to. And no, OJ got he still got his picture up on there, which, you know what, come on. Why you gotta, I thought we were supposed to separate the art from the artist, right? So why are you throwing shade at his character like that? Come on. But like I said, to me, the whole Naked Gun and Police Squad and everything, that felt very much, like Leslie Nielsen's thing, his character and stuff like that for Frank Drebin. You can't replace him. He had just such a way of doing it. And like I said before too, it'd be like trying to replace. It would be trying to like bring in somebody new to play Ernest P. Worrell when Jim Varney embodied that character. There are just certain characters that I just don't think can be reimagined, redone, and everything like that. So,
I mean, Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen have almost the same last name, so I'm sure that's probably close enough, right?
all right, here, let me see if I can do something really quick. Let me see if I can find a good first, like the trailer for the first Naked Gun. Just to kind of do like a comparison here. That's a little bit longer. Shit. Yeah. But yeah, I get Melissa Lord said the OJ bit was funny. Like I said, come on, why we gotta hate on his character? Aren't we supposed to separate the two? Yeah, like he bows out from talking about his dad. Okay. No kind words for OJ. Melissa Lord says Police Squad is funny too. I'll have to check it out one of these days for sure. New York Florida man had shouted no. Dan Blackbird said they are trying to copy Thunderbolts with the humor. The movie isn't even out yet, and it's a Hollywood trendsetter. Kevin and I have won again. Joking aside, that trailer just also didn't have, I don't know, just the feel of the Naked Gun movies. Like it was legit just feeling like it's trying to take itself too seriously, or maybe I'm just nitpicking. Maybe I'm just nitpicking because like it is, I have a much more fondness and nostalgia feel for the original 3 movies that they did for Naked Gun. I mean, like it was the third movie was Naked Gun 33 and a third, the final insult. Like it was the final. Come on. But then hey, we have Final Fantasy and we're on fucking almost 20 of those goddamn games.
Not quite 20.
Huh?
Not quite 20.
No, it's not at 20 yet, but I mean it's practically. Nerdy Neo said never seen Naked Gun and asked to watch the Thunderbolts trailer. Why are you friends with this guy? Listen. He has a very unique disposition. And I like that he's very outside the bubble.
Very outside the bubble.
So it makes for unique commentary sometimes.
The most unique.
Well, let's not go that far.
I mean, it's pretty unique.
But hey, I'll give it to you for the wormhole watch. I don't
want to hear this again. Hypocrite of the finest. Have you seen Tombstone? Have you seen Heat?
No, I have not.
No.
Quintessential
movies. Probably better than Naked Gun in some aspects.
But isn't Tombstone a Western?
More than a Western.
Okay.
More than a Western.
How is it more than a Western?
Well, you'd have to just watch it. It's
so would that be more of a serious movie versus Naked Gun, which is a comedy? So you're talking about 2 different genres there.
Well, there's comedy in Tombstone.
Oh, is there? Is it like more of a dark humor sort of stuff going on, or?
I mean, Kurt Russell slaps a guy with a rope. That's funny.
The slapstick then. Okay.
Somebody died and the guy was like, smell that? Smells like somebody died.
I can see it. Timon has said, I like it because I don't care anymore. Fuck it. Fair enough. Timon said OJ was funny as fuck. His character was good. Yeah. He was good in that movie. New York Florida man said, yeah, Melissa, I actually laughed at the OJ bit. And said, does National Lampoons even have anything to do with it? No, I don't believe so. I don't see any. Usually they would have said from National Lampoon and stuff like that. Dan Blackbird said, I believe in the Thunderbolts because the Thunderbolts believe in me. Nerdy Neo says, Tombstone is amazing. Melissa Lord said, I've seen them both. Florida man said there's a new South Park trailer. Jordan Star Wars says Thunderbolts will be atrocious. Uh-oh. We may have a fight scene coming. No, Florida man asks, have you covered it yet? What, the South Park trailer? No, not yet. No. That I didn't even know that there was one. I mainly had a few things on the docket for trailers to subject ourselves to. And I didn't know there was a South Park one. I can look it up possibly. Melissa Lord says, smell that, Bill? Smells like someone died.
Yeah, that's what it was.
LOL, Johnny.
Like somebody dead. Somebody died.
Nerdy Neo said, Doc mocking Johnny Ringo with his twirling of the glass is pretty
Oh my
great.
goodness.
As is when
Oh.
Wyatt slaps the crap out of Billy Bob Thornton's character. All right,
Yes.
I'll have to maybe I'll watch it on my weekend off or something. I'll take a look.
Well, you have a holiday coming up.
I do, but I can also watch it other times.
Oh, that's true.
Melissa Lore says Val tells Billy Bob, "Oh, I forgot you were there. You may go now." I'm gonna have to watch this movie.
I forgot you were there. You may go now.
I'm gonna have to watch this movie. There's some other movies that people are telling me to watch, and I forgot to write them down. Now I gotta remember what the hell it was. But okay, so Tombstone, and what was that other one you said? Heat?
Oh my goodness, Heat's absolutely amazing with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Even though Robert De Niro's got Trump derangement syndrome, he's in the movie. He's just fantastic.
Is this? I'm guessing this is before his.
Yeah, this was like back in the
PDS.
90s. Back in the 90s, I want to say.
Oh yeah. I've heard of it. I've just never seen it. Nerdy Neo saying Heat is overrated.
Oh, I thought it was great, but
To each their own. You know,
yeah, no,
I
that's true.
I think certain games are overrated too, but people love them. So, you know. All right, I think we've put it off long enough. Time for torture. Star Wars it is now.
Gosh, please no.
All right, here we go.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious with strangers out here. Then again, you're no stranger. Lady Ventress.
I thought she was supposed to be dead.
Ventress?
Yeah, I could or wait, did they resurrect her? I could have sworn her and Quinlan Voss died in some book. Oh, God.
I'm not sure.
Somehow, Ventress returned.
We got a problem here. Just saw him right in.
Oh God, Sausage Fingers Bane!
What's the situation?
He was your best
So let me guess, Filoni's in charge of this piece of shit.
Probably.
Because he
Ventress died,
and so
though.
when is this supposed to be taking place?
Timeline doesn't matter.
Oh wait, no, I saw Stormtrooper, so
friend. Things have changed.
You took everything from me.
Who are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin. I don't want that life anymore.
Bane? No one needs to die.
Get them.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
now we've got another fucking kid that is gonna be learning the Force, of course.
Of course.
Original series, my ass. It's probably more ripped off material. They're still stuck in Imperial time period. They aren't going anywhere else, it seems. Like, what's the fucking point? And I could have sworn they killed Ventress at some point. Can somebody correct?
Like they did.
And again, we got the kid learning the Force. Just why? What? I got nothing. It's funny that they are now just suddenly having like a real surge of a bunch of freaking content that is apparently going to be coming out this year.
Right.
I never watched Skeleton Crew, so I don't know what the hell the point of that show was. Other than some very weird, suggestive, underage themes going on.
Theory liked it.
Huh?
Theory liked it.
Of course he did. I did have to at least laugh because I saw Greg Hates Everything make a funny post comparing a shot from the from that trailer with a certain scene from Last of Us 2. Which I thought this was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this at all. Look at like you said, same energy. I did laugh. I had to laugh. I had a laugh. And I also I thought it was kind of interesting what OG Star Wars also pointed out, because it was funny how things kind of coincided too with how the Star Wars underworld, or yeah, was it the underworld stuff that we talked about last week, and how the 60 scripts that Lucas had ready for that show. Oh, yeah. So yeah, like OG Star Wars here had pointed out. Oops. You realize the Underworld show news that was always known about was staged. It was a draw interest for the coming announcement of Tales of the Underworld, which in comparison will not even measure up to the ideas of the Underworld show. They are just dangling the member berries at you, which I said, like, well, I do now. Good point. I hadn't considered. Now I wonder if I bother to torture myself in Hitman this weekend with the trailer or not. So it's like, well, fucking hell, that makes a lot of goddamn sense that they would do that sort of shit, right? Dangle one thing out in front of everybody while then they're getting ready for this bullshit.
And 10 out of 10, don't recommend.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there's been a Disney. Well, you recommend Book of Boba Fett, so
that's fantastic. Don't talk crap on that.
I was looking at it. I'm like, is this the play? Oh, no, it might be too few a cornfield, but I'm like, is this that same farm that we were seeing in the Andor trailer?
Yeah,
but
no, it's the
but I could be mistaken on that.
No, Rebels.
Oh, Lothal?
Yeah. Might be Lothal.
Got industrialization, which, I mean, I don't disagree that is harmful. Hang on, it's like, yeah, didn't we already do this with Star Wars Rebels as well? Like, really? Like, although it's a little bit of a different situation with it being Ventress, who was retconned to being a fallen Jedi, I believe, instead of I think she was a full-on Darksider when she was originally introduced, but I could be mistaken. If purists can correct me on that. But yeah, Marvel purists had said after TCW, probably before Book of Boba Fett, since Cad Bane is supposedly dead, even though he isn't. Well, that was the big cliffhanger, right? At the end of the Book of Dad Bod Fett, we didn't know, but we probably figured because Filoni's involved, his characters don't die. So, like I said, I thought Ventress had died. I thought Ventress had eaten dirt. Hey, Brendan Tran saying, I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys are fans of martial arts films. But you know who would win between Bruce Lee, inventor of Jeet Kune Do, or Mr. Miyagi, student of karate? I'd probably give it to Bruce. Dude was a freaking
Chuck Norris.
beast.
Why was Chuck Norris not even included in that? Chuck Norris fought Bruce Lee in one of the movies.
He did, and he got his butt whooped.
Well,
his hair's pulled. His chest hair's pulled too. Yeah, Jorge Lucas says it looks like Planet Not Tatooine. It did. Yeah, this is gonna be yet another show for us that we are probably just gonna ignore entirely and probably pay attention to something else completely. Do you have any little extra thoughts here, Hitman, for this trailer?
Nope, spoiler fall. And I want to know how Ventress died because I thought she did die, but she could have been brought back by her mom, who was the witch of Dap or whatever.
But the Dathomirian witches were wiped out.
I thought her mom was the head of the witch order.
I don't know if it was her mom, but Mother Talzin. But I think that's just a title. Like Mother Talzin for her is just a title. I don't think she's her actual mother.
I don't know. She looked like her mom.
Close enough. Yeah, I'm kind of like, what? But like again, I think it's just gonna be called.
We'll see if Static tells us to watch it, then we'll see.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, Paul Hadoken, how's it going? Saying, what's up, boys? Oh, just torturing ourselves with some Disney Star Wars. Same old, same old. Let me go back to the chat really quick. New York, Florida man had said the shootout scene in Heat is classic. Captain Keeley said Star Wars Blunderworld. Very true. Melissa Lord said no one's ever really gone fractured. That's true. I keep forgetting that. Keeley said you're right. Filoni doesn't care. Exactly. Melissa Lord says yes, it is the jabroni. Nerdy Neo says, what is this? Another season of Clone Wars? Oh god, it does. It's like the same animation style. That's like basically what they've gone for now. They just keep reusing it from Clone Wars onto Rebels, onto Bad Batch. Now this show. They changed things up with what was that? I forgot what it's called. But it's another Filoni produced bullshit show. I don't want to say Star Wars Resistance, but for some reason that's the only thing that's coming to my brain.
I think it was Resistance.
Yeah, yep, it was Star Wars Resistance. Yeah, that was like the one show that like diverged in terms of the style of animation. Jordan Star Wars says they retconned her death from Dark Disciple by Christy Golden. Oh, okay. Marvel Pure says Tombstone and Heat. Hell yeah. Watch Heat first. Goat. Jordan Star Wars says brought her back in BBS3. Star Wars Marvel Pierce says Heat came out right after the bank robbery in South California, so many fucking gunshots in that movie. Brandon Tran said, hello there, dropping in late, but hope you guys are having a good day. We are. Had a long discussion about the Nintendo Switch and everything, and now we're on to Star Wars. Took us a while, but we got there. Jorge Lucas says, wow, he said, you will be like Yoda did. I clapped when I saw that. Yay! Marvel Pure says, Lady Vader replaced with Lady Venture. Oh. Huh. Lady Vader. God damn it. Marvel Pure says, yes, they retcon Ventress's death in Dark Disciple Disney canon. The Disney canon. Shit. Jordan Sarver says, that's what the Nogri called her. That's right. Lady Vader. New York Floorman says, Tales of Underworld Disney sex trafficking ring. Oh, no. I mean, it's very accurate. Jorge Lucas says, nothing in that trailer seemed cool or was even remotely interesting. It's just it's all Filoni. I mean, I'm guessing this is a Filoni production. So it's got all of his usual staples in there. Yep, creator Dave Filoni. So yeah, it's got all of his bullshit.
His watermarks.
Jorge Lucas, it said Underworld member berry Easter egg slop. Marvel purist clickbaiting George Lucas canceled show. Yep. Jordan Lucas member berries. Dan Blackroyd with a 10 out of 10 apparently. Jordan Star Wars says they retconned her death in Dark Disciple. They brought her back in Bad Batch season 3. I didn't watch Bad Batch season 3, so I didn't know they brought her back in that. Oh God. Captain Keeley says, God, I hate the TCW Night Sisters plot convenience to the max. What, dude? They ruined the Night Sisters so hard in that show. God damn it. Night Sisters were cool. Not my favorite, but at least they were cooler in the original canon. Marvel Pure says, no, she had a Jedi Master who got murdered in the EU. They did use that element. Oh, okay. Good to know. I wasn't sure. Like I said, I only remember. I haven't done a lot of. I haven't looked into Ventress. I just know how she first came into Tartakovsky's Clone Wars and everything, and I knew her as being a Ratataki and everything originally, and now they've made her like just a turbo pale human or something, or Night Sister now, or whatever the fuck. Ugh. Captain Keeley says they reuse it to save money. Not having to make new assets, literal slop. I mean, on the one hand, I can't. If the animation style works for you, I don't know. Like, I guess I can't necessarily be against it. I mean, work smarter, not harder. I can't say I've ever been too mad at old games, certainly that did a lot of asset flips back in the day. So it's kind of tough for me to get really pissy when I'll allow one and not the other, I guess. Yeah, you know what? Fuck them. What a bunch of lazy pissant pieces of shit. Marvel Pure says, yes, she died in Dark Disciple, Disney canon. Damn Disney canon. It ruins everything. Jorge Lucas says, characters get thrown into bottom pits in Star Wars and they still manage to survive thanks to the magic of Disney. Jordan, Star Wars says Bad Batch season 3. Fuck that show. Captain Keeley says they also reuse already existing assets within the TCW animation. So fucking lazy. Yeah, they can burn in hell. Jordan Star Wars says, I enjoyed Asajj Ventress in the Republic comics. I gotta read some of those because I've seen some like kind of snippets from it. It looks pretty savage. Jorge Lucas says, yeah, this seems like pure Filoni versus trash. Dan Blackbird says, positivity. That's what we need in the Star Wars community. All things will be better. Oh, Captain Keeley says they can literally do anything. No fucking restrictions. That's, yeah. And Jorge Lucas says Ventress is going Karen mode in this series. I mean, she's got the side haircut and everything, so yeah, she's on her way to being a true proper Karen. Sorry, say that again.
Oh, I said the biggest Karen.
Oh, probably. She's gonna defy all odds and be the most Karen of all Karens. But I gotta kind of feel bad for women actually named Karen and that they have been so besmirched by such a behavior. It's gotta kind of suck now.
We thought if Kathleen Kennedy left, things would be better.
That bitch ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
Marvel Pierce said, "Yeah, it's Filoni. They're all shorts too. 6 shorts that total an hour and a half. Yeah, and aren't they? They're like dropping them all on that day too, which is just hilarious. Either they have no faith in it. Well, they probably have no faith in it. They just want to get it out there. They just need some slop to keep the retards contained for a bit. But hey, that means more material for you guys. The Gatekeepers Alliance. You keep ripping them apart. Captain.
The gate.
Huh?
We'll just feed them through the gate. So they can destroy it. We'll be the gate feeders.
Gate feeders. Captain Keeley says if you watched the Disney shows with the TCW animation, almost all the stories use already existing assets within the TCW animation. They can't even be bothered to make new assets within the TCW animation. That's just sad. Bad Batch is the biggest offender of this. So awful. I can't say I watching those goddamn shows, I ever paid too deep attention to all of the details, but that makes sense now that you bring it up like that. So Timon says she will be all the Karen. God damn it, she will be all the Karens, won't she? Marvel Pierce says technically most of their live action is doing the same thing, Keeley. Just reusing reusing costumes, reusing people. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. One asset flip after another. Just in different ways of going about it. Okay. Let's see here. So, should we? Who is it that brought up the? Wait. Captain Keeley says fractured. You see, I have the tism and I notice things, or something like that. Trust me, I understand. We all notice things. We all deep dive I mean I've caught different things too for different details and stuff. And I know, like it is with Melee Games, he was catching stuff with that Marvel beat 'em up game that looks like a callback to the old arcade X-Men games and stuff like that. And he was catching some asset flips and potential like tracing of poses and stuff like that going on. So he saw it as like some things being copied from Marvel versus Capcom. So we've all got autism. We all notice certain things. We all notice certain tunnel dwellers and stuff like that. We just can't help ourselves.
Cave trolls.
Yeah. Weird little goblins. Sorrow's Marvel Pierce says Kyle Katarn has been plagiarized and bastardized in multiple ways. He has been a template for so many of their fucking characters at this point. It's not even funny. And they keep getting away with it. And it's just sad. But at the same time, you know what? I'm just glad they haven't brought in the actual Kyle Katarn. Not that even if they brought in a Kyle Katarn, it would be the OG. So, But still, that's at least my one saving grace that they haven't done that. But it's just still sad the damage they've done to other characters. Marvel Pierce said, "Mrs. Dash called you out, Keely." What will we want to do next, Hitman? Got a couple more trailers, or huh?
Yeah. Well, you want to do a couple more trailers, or
one more, two more, whatever.
Yeah,
we
we
got
do.
that Karate Kid Legends trailer, and I guess we could check out the South Park trailer that was brought up by, I believe, by Florida Man.
do the Cobra Kai?
Karate Kid Legends. Okay.
That's what I said, not Cobra Kai.
Captain Keely, he can't keep getting away with this. New York Florida Man says Marvel reuses the same VFX templates all the time. Just look at Wolverine spinning around the Statue of Liberty in X-Men and the final fight in Black Panther when he spins around using his claws. Oh shit. Is that a fact? I haven't watched Black Panther, and it's been a really long time since I've paid attention to watching the first X-Men movie, so that might be funny to check out. When they do, he'll be gay. Oh god. All right, here we go. We are going to check out this trailer, official trailer number 2 for the Karate Kid Legends. All right, just making sure. There we go. It's in the Discord. I've been good this time. I've been making sure it's been shared. All right, here we go.
You want to talk about it?
Get that off of there. Again, funny tournament going on that you got to have involved with this Karate Kid bullshit universe. Yeah, basically, New York Florida Man, he says, is this like a Karate Kid multiverse or some shit? From what I've gathered with this one, this whole Karate Kid Legends, is that they've also entirely ignored Jaden Smith and his part in that movie. So now but they're keeping the Jackie Chan character, and it's just following beats from definitely the first Karate Kid movie. Just except this kid actually apparently knows kung fu, while LaRusso claimed to know karate, but he didn't, not fully. So I don't know, man. Like, why couldn't they just leave well enough alone? Like, just leave. They should have. I've gone on and on about this. I had so many problems with the freaking Cobra Kai series, especially even the season 1, even though people whacked it off so goddamn hard. Yeah, I mean, it's just going beat for beat. Yeah, Jorge Lucas saying member berry check. Captain Keely, why do all modern trailers have the same structure? It's so boring. Timon says a Chinese and a Japanese friends from the people alive in World War II. That brings some excellent questions there, doesn't it? Jorge Lucas looks so safe, generic, and boring. Timon says because the Smith kid is crazy. Well, considering his family, that's not surprising. I don't know. There's like even a weird morbid part of me that will possibly check this movie out once it's hit the seas. And I said like the same. I feel like I'm just repeating myself when we talked about Mortal Kombat last week. Just because I love the Karate Kid movies. I always enjoyed them. Cobra Kai is just a whole other bag of weird. And I still haven't even watched the last season for that show. I never watched the Jackie Chan movie with Jaden Smith and everything. I never watched that, so I don't even know what the hell the point of that one was. Other than more recycling of an old storyline, just in different settings and stuff. Still continuing with everything of the usual single parent, single mom sort of stuff. I don't know. I just you see these things and there's like a part of me like I feel like I should be interested in everything just because of my enjoyment for the original movies, but yeah, it's just not quite there. It's just not there. I could just easily forget about this and then let time pass and then go, oh hey, there's a digital copy I could check out.
You're not gonna go watch it in theaters.
Oh hell no. There has to be something like Thunderbolts to go and watch in theaters. No,
Oh, that's true. Or Superman.
Or Superman, yes. No, the only thing that ever really got me really interested was the Godzilla -1. And that's
Which
been
was just absolutely terrible. Consider like if it.
let's not get into that. Let's just focus now on this.
I'm just saying.
Do you have any?
Listen, put that up against King of Monsters. It's subpar. That's it. And no, I have nothing. What happened to Mr. Miyagi? Did he die?
Both in their little universe and yes, the Pat Morita did die
in real life.
Yes. Yeah, he's an old guy.
Sad. I didn't know that.
Yep. I don't remember. Let's see. When did he pass away? Yeah, it's funny because like the dates were different. Like they made Mr. Miyagi live longer than the actual actor. He died in 2005.
Oh man, how old was he?
Let's see. It doesn't say when he was, how old he was. But let's do some quick maths. So here, he's 73.
That's not bad.
So, wow. Florida Man says Godzilla minus fun. Well, that was kind of the point. It was kind of a more serious movie. It was hearkening back to the original Godzilla movie. Yeah, or hey, Lucas, nothing beats the first Karate Kid. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna take you down.
I never watched the Karate Kid movies.
Check out the first one. See how you feel, and then maybe move on to the rest. The third one is just the third one is just yeah. The Cobra Kai is well after the fact. But be warned, the third Karate Kid movie's pure cheese. But it's great because the main villain, Terry Silver, is fantastic. He is so over the top. But yeah, that was the Karate Kid Legends official trailer. They're really they're really milking this one for all they can. Milking it for all they can.
Well, naturally they would.
Naturally.
Out of all the movies, I would probably say Superman's the one I'm going to go see.
Out of the ones we watched tonight for trailers,
maybe Star Wars. Just kidding.
Yeah, are we talking? Okay, so what are we talking? Gun to your head sort of situation, or
no? Just like if you had
out of pure interest, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one, interest, and then two, like if you had to.
I mean, probably Superman would be more relevant or more for interest's sake. But I don't know. Just because of my initial enjoyment for the original Karate Kid films, I'd possibly check that out. But
you're such a sucker for Karate Kid and Back to the Future.
Yeah,
but you said that you would not. But you would not watch Back to the Future 4.
No, because I don't want to encourage that behavior.
I mean, even the guy who originally wrote it.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, just because I don't have a strong attachment to Superman, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I don't either. I just want something to be good.
And I just want to completely avoid anything Disney Star Wars. So,
well,
and then to me that like hell no on that Naked Gun movie. To me, that's a hell no.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Liam Neeson.
I like Liam Neeson. He's a good actor, and I have seen him in some comedy stuff, but just not in that role. Like I said, that just to me that series just doesn't need to be. It didn't need to be made. But then technically, neither does this Karate Kid Legends and stuff. So, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it's just member berries.
Member berries can be a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Dan Blackrider said it basically looks like Karate Kid and Forbidden Kingdom combined without the fantasy element. Dan Blackrider said Thunderbolts is the only logical option this year. Timon says a ring at the top of a skyscraper. Yeah, that was a little suspect. A little weird, a little bizarre. Dan Blackbird, I'm not listening to those lies. Dan Blackbird says, I still think Hitman is confusing the Superman trailers for the Thunderbolts. Possibly. No, like I said, if it was like you and I hanging out, yeah, I'd go and see Superman with you, but otherwise, I have no interest in these. It's like, and again, I'm not giving money to freaking Hollywood.
No.
Jorge Lucas says the Naked Gun movie is cursed. I witnessed the trailer and it broke me. Yeah, we just watched it too. Oh, all right. Well, I think we'll start closing this out, sir, since you got your errands to still do and all that jazz. So yeah, let's go to the ending here. So sorry, no Stargate again this week. We're just waiting for a good opportunity because we want to do the double feature. So once Hitman does have a little more time on his hands and everything, we will certainly watch the Stargates. But again,
double feature.
Yep. But thank you all for being here. Jorge Lucas, Dan Blackroyd, New York, Florida man, Captain Keeley. My brain is farting as I'm going through the Star Wars Marvel purist. Jordan Star Wars. I know we had Paul Hadoken. Nerdy Neo's been hanging out. Going through the list. Static 2020 was in earlier. Melissa Lord, of course, had been in at the start. Also, Brandon Tran made a reappearance. Great to see you back in the chat, sir.
Been a minute.
It's been a hot minute, yep.
Still no Sentinel.
Yeah, still haven't seen Sentinel in a while. Backseater was also in. Thank you all so much for being here. It's been a blast. Y'all have a great evening. We'll catch you next week. And sorry we didn't. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Thank you all for being here. We will catch y'all later. Have a great evening. See you same bat time, same bat channel next week. Peace.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, We can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring, the one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, it put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter rage.